Well, guys, let's start the first non-game of the year episode of 2025. We're not talking about last year anymore. We're
Ever
talking
again.
about
What?
We're not even allowed to reference it.
2025 and onward. This is episode. Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption that we can never talk about it ever
No,
again.
no. So it got grandfathered in.
Yeah,
so.
that game lives forever. That game.
All right,
That game gets re-released every year. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I don't know if you realize, Dan, we're making all this up. This is all made up.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
The
then
idea
Final
is
Fantasy VII. No.
You take what you want and then you just shape rules around that.
Yeah.
I'm learning
You
that.
disregard what everybody else feels.
If you just move the
and
goalpost, you could just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I learned that from politicians, from financiers, from like
Really?
that's how
from you, Dad.
Yeah.
The goal is to create a was a cosm or chasm or whatever. You just create your own little bubble, your own little world. Yeah.
That's right. So that's what we're doing for episode 257 of the Current Gen podcast. Tim, Kyle, and Dan. I think we're kind of happy not to try to rank another list, maybe, and just talk about some games, and no pressure to agree or disagree on things. We're just going to talk about what we're excited about. So that's kind of the gist of this week's episode. There's a lot of new games we've mentioned in passing over the last few weeks, but I just want to at least give them some love because there's been a lot of games that have come out and some headlines in addition. So we're going to go a little out of order. We're going to start with quick hits. Anything you've been watching that you want to highlight or playing that you want to highlight. Then we're going to go over some headlines, and then we're going to combine new games with the 2025 preview because I've got a bunch of kind of screen share stuff we're going to do for all of those. So let's start with quick hits. Dan, what have you been playing recently? And are you still streaming? What are you streaming right now?
So I actually forgot to mention, because technically it was 2024, right? Or did it finish in 2025? Castlevania Nocturne Season 2. So yeah. I started that in 24. I don't know. That's like crossing over.
Yeah,
it's crossing streams. It's
we haven't really talked about it like since you finished it though, because you did finish it, right?
Yeah, so I did finish that. Man, those Castlevania shows they're just good stuff, man. I mean, they're like super violent, it's like really violent. But like it's really good, and the animation's really great. It's like it's not anime, but it's like clearly I feel like it's clearly people who were inspired probably by anime and like
grew up on anime.
Grew up on anime, and like this is like their style, but like there's like something there that it's like it's American anime. Like I don't know.
Pretty self-contained. Can I just go watch it, or do I need like a deep knowledge of Castlevania?
So it's there's connections. I mean, you could technically jump into Nocturne and have a good time for sure. But there's definitely going to be like there's going to be some stuff there that like if you just know Castlevania as a whole, or if you watched those first 3 seasons, you're gonna be like, oh shit, like this.
There's 4 seasons of Castlevania animated show.
Mm-hmm. Was there 4?
Yeah, there was.
I'm looking at it right now. I was just looking at it to add it to my list. Yeah,
I would say
why I had 3.
Probably want to watch those just to get.
I'll just watch
all the
those.
Same universe,
I'll watch all of
but
it.
like the games are, it's not like parallel to the games. They cherry pick the games, which is
okay. So if I watch the 4 seasons, then I can also jump. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Those are quick watches too. And I actually never watched the 4th season of that, which is the only reason I haven't started this yet.
Oh. Dude, that fight at the end is like.
Sometimes I like something so much, I'm like, I want to keep this for later, and like
I've done that before.
I'll squirrel something away.
Yeah.
So I am definitely eager to get to it because the new season's coming out and the new.
You know what I did that with was Better Call Saul. I watched almost the whole first season.
I did the same thing. Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm gonna wait till this whole series is finished, then I'm gonna watch all. And then I did. I went back and I started back at episode 1, season 1. And did the whole show, and I'm so glad.
What you're saying is you guys pulled a Dan, is what you're saying.
Pulled a Dan. I did.
I watched the last 2 seasons together. I just didn't have cable anymore, so So it wasn't immediately available on Netflix. So it's like I got backed up and had to wait and. Yeah.
Well, it was also only on their thing too, right? Wasn't it like AMC Plus or something?
Until it floundered. Yeah. It ultimately came to like Hulu or something or Netflix. I forget what.
Netflix,
Yeah. It's good to keep stuff, But you do fall behind on things, which I know everyone's talking really highly of this new one. So it sounds like you're liking it. A lot of people.
So it's 2 seasons, and obviously I'm not going to say specifics. I feel like a lot of it gets wrapped up, but there's definitely a couple of threads where it's like And one of them I would say is like kind of major, like, oh, like this definitely is something here, but like, is it something where it's season 3 of Nocturne, or is it going to be like another thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's definitely some stuff there. There's one, I think, smaller thing, and then one like bigger thing of like, all right, like this could go somewhere, like this thing. Yeah. So, but yeah, I really enjoy it. I think the dialogue between the characters is really great. The Belmonts are definitely there's definitely a sarcasm, a snark to the Belmonts, which seems to be like a fun thread going from those first 4 seasons into, because obviously
everyone knows that snark is
huge
genetic.
gap of time.
We all know this.
Yes, it's very genetic. It's built into the DNA. Into the DNA. And just the choreography and the way the animations, the fight is really good. And definitely like they put their budget in at that like last whole chunk, because it's like the last 2 episodes is like the big fight. It's like all the stuff happening, the crescendo of everything. Yeah, it's really great. Actually, the music is actually really solid too. I think the music just fits really well with the series, and it's like really good stuff too.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely, Tim, for sure. Like, get into them because they're really good. Yeah. But like I said, definitely violent, definitely some cursing occasionally here and there. So not for the kids, for the kids.
Yeah. Occasional nudity in the first 4 seasons.
Yes.
Occasional nudity. Yeah.
Yeah. A little.
Watch it on a
screen
booba. That I can protect.
Right. Yeah.
I hear you.
Booba.
I hear you.
So I watched that. I finished that. It was great. I'm playing more Dragon Age. I think I'm almost halfway there.
Cool.
Jeff would be proud. He loves when things are halfway there.
He loves halfway.
I'm almost halfway there. Man, it's I'm not gonna even like get, because like we've had these conversations. I don't want to like beat a dead horse, but I'm just so sick and tired of these people who just like want to bury things because of their just bullshit like hate and all that. Like this game is this game is fun. It's a competent video game. It is fun.
I haven't seen many criticisms of the core gameplay elements of this game. I haven't. It's mostly been around.
Aside from people that are like they're like old school. They're like, oh, I like the first one's the best. There's always the people like the first one's the best.
I want more Origins, and I'm like, boy, we're like 15 years from that now, you know?
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Dan, we all wish they took off from there, but they just didn't, you know?
Do you think all the loudness around let's just call them the cultural issues surrounding this game, whichever side you fall on, or maybe you're more like me and you're kind of neutral and like, I don't know, make a good game and make it make sense and do whatever you want. So anyway, do you think all that noise makes it difficult for someone who has a legitimate criticism to be heard, because they get lumped in with, oh, cool, so you're a hateful bigot? Like, no, I just don't like the way the combat feels, or whatever the thing is.
So my issue, my whole angle with that is like, I feel like, and I could be wrong, but in my opinion, I feel like what I perceive, what I see with those people that hate it because of like the social all of that stuff is that they're just seeing it through a very focused lens. They're seeing clips that are precisely cut in a. They're not playing the game. They're not playing it. I even saw somebody, because I like to try to find a full playthrough video on YouTube just to kind of have like an idea, a gauge of where I'm at and compare like where I'm at with the video. And like I have one that I found for Dragon Age, and like the comments are just gross. And one of them's like, "Oh, look at this hero here playing this whole game, so I don't have to play this garbage." And then as you're like looking through everybody else responding to the person, they're like, "Yeah, I like played like the first like half hour, and then I was like, I'm out."
It's like people who would make whole strings of content about Elden Ring being overrated. But as it turns out, when you do some digging, they never played it, or they played till like the first boss, and like, I'm done.
How annoying is that, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you're right. It's where it's a paper thin experience, and then you're pretending like you can build a house on it, and you just
well, even the people who are like, oh, I just want it to be like Origins, that's a like I want it to be like Origins, that's a valid criticism, you know, like you know, and like, you know, that's, you know, that's pretty obvious, you know, when those people are just saying that, you know. So and it's easy to take that at face value, because it's like, I get that.
Fair enough.
I think a lot of people, every time a new one of these comes out, they're like, boy, I wish it were more like Origin. So it's been kind of an echoed thing. in the in the community for a while now as well. And I think it's a valid criticism. I think
just
it's
like
okay.
when people criticize Red Dead Redemption 2 for Arthur's movement, I wish it were more like John's movement in the first game. I don't agree. Sure. I really like the way the game kind of evolved, but it's like, that's fair. You might not. That's fair if you don't like the way that the movie.
Yeah, feels. I mean, how do you argue about feel? You know what I mean? Right. Like, yeah, I like the way you don't. What are we doing here? You know, like, I get that too. You know,
not even 15 minutes in, we're Red Dead Redemption. There we go. There's the.
Well, the thing about Red Dead Redemption is you can go in and watch a theater and
I'm gonna tie it into everything.
Show every time.
It just came right in.
Just like our show, it's a different show every time.
Hey, there's a TV series that Kyle started that I'm going to tie into Red Dead Redemption 2 so easily.
There you
just
go.
Wait.
Okay,
it's literally the only reason I started it, that show. And you recommended it, but like, I was like, this is thematic to what I'm doing.
I'm in the mood.
But yeah,
but I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad that Kyle enjoyed it. I know Jeff liked it. Here's how I look at it. It's a bummer that it didn't make the money back. That means that whatever creativity and other stories they want to tell, they can't tell.
Yeah.
So that's a bummer no matter what. It's not something that ever really interested me from the first trailer, even through when I really watched a lot of the deep dive gameplay. I was like, this doesn't look like something I'm gonna like. But I have a mild interest in it, more than I ever would have, because of you guys saying how fun it is and the gameplay really is good. So I probably will give it a try when it inevitably hits $10 on a holiday sale or something. Probably this holiday. I would imagine it's gonna take a dive.
Yeah, if you want a more rosy, cheap Final Fantasy 16, that's this game. You know, like, I feel like there's a lot of parallel DNA there, you know, in terms of its combat. But like, it is definitely not like bleak like 16 was, which is what I really like about that game too. But
right, game of the year, I guess.
But like this game does. I feel like there's definitely like a tongue-in-cheek, like, you know, because you're talking, the whole thing, much like Mass Effect, is you're building these relationships with these people, right? And along with the story and doing everything, and everybody's personalities are different and so on and so forth. So there's a little bit of like, you know, certain characters talking certain ways and just kind of busting each other's balls or joking around with each other. And there's a bit of humor here and there.
And that like built-in excitement to like, oh, these two characters are interacting. You know, there's always that in Mass Effect and Dragon Age.
Right.
You know, I like those like little moments where you're like, I kind of wanted y'all to talk about this. You know, like you'll walk in mid-conversation, they're talking about something that you're like, yeah, y'all would have different opinions on this.
And like the tone of this game, the main thing I want to say is like, I'd say it's pretty serious. Like, you know, some bad shit is happening. And these group of people that are all essentially strangers, most of them, are coming together to you know, to take care of this big bad thing that's happening. And it's I would say overall, aside from like those things that I just mentioned sprinkled in as a story should have, stuff like that, it shouldn't just be consistently the same tone all the way through.
Now the characters add a lot of levity to an otherwise world-ending kind of plot. You know?
So that's just what bums me out, because I feel like like you mentioned with the sales, like it's like I wonder how much of that, like, I'm genuinely curious how much of that vitriol, if it is in this case like a small echo chamber thing, or if it was enough people where the dominoes stacked against this game because of all that bullshit. And it really did ding it like pretty hard.
Did people
like,
that were going to buy it decide not to because of that? Probably some.
Yeah, maybe some.
Is that in the millions? I don't know.
I think Baldur's Gate 3 probably kept a lot of people from this. I think people, you know, that is Dragon Age Origins. You know, that is a little more akin to like that. So I think people kind of got that experience and are still having that experience.
Yeah.
And they did characters a lot better than most games do. So it's like, I feel like maybe a lot of people had, you know, like, I think like all things, I think things are multifaceted, you know? So it's
I'm going to make a statement that I have no evidence to back up. Here we go. I think that the trailer and style that they chose to launch this with had a much bigger negative effect on this game than any of the conversation around the social issues. I don't think those helped. I think that continued the negative momentum, at least in some circles. But I do think that the way they launched this game and announced it made a lot of people say, I'm not even going to give this a second look. So as they continued to show the game, people were like, no, I'm out on this game already. So I could be wrong.
I'm glad that you brought up the style, though, because for example, what the hell is the race called that starts with the Q?
Do you remember the first trailer? The trailer got so many views. People wanted to see the new Dragon Age, and I think they lost a huge chunk of their audience just with how it looked like a 6v6.
We were all confused and concerned, like
multiplayer game.
Well, and I brought this up before too. You're talking about a game that's been delayed 10 years. I think about 10 years, and it had an identity crisis with being a games as a service game, getting canceled, picked back up. So it's like, I think it's fun to try and point at one thing and go, this is probably
that's the thing I'm pointing to.
I just don't. I just don't. Yeah, I just don't think that that's like an applicable thing. I think it's just so many bad marketing decisions, so many bad delays, so many bad word of mouth, the cultural stuff doesn't help. None of it helps, it's all not pushing sales,
and it wasn't really like a game of the year 95 out of 100 type of game.
And you're like, you're talking about, we're in a recession right now and people aren't spending a lot of money, and like, we could go on and on. And I think that checklist is 1,000 points long,
this one's better.
But what if this game had averaged 10 more points on the 100-point scale in reviews and been a Baldur's Gate 3 like, where people are like, this is like genre defining? I'm not saying every game can be. I'm just saying, had it been that, I think we would be having a different conversation.
Maybe. I mean, again, I don't know what the OpenCritic or Metacritic is for it, but like a lot of the major publications gave it like 9s, so like it did have pretty high, like in your IGNs and your GameSpots, and you're like, the people that like, when you cruise down, the go-to list or whatever, like, I'm not saying that that's a good way to get data, because I don't read a lot of these reviews from these major publications, but if you're talking about making sales and people getting eyes on like high ranking stuff, like, I just don't think I think by then people already made their mind up. I don't think 9's going to sway anybody.
To circle back around,
so it averaged out at 80. Sites like PC Gamer gave it a 79. Sites like IGN gave it a 9. GameSpot though gave it a 7. So because it was, I don't think it really was a home run across the board. And I think, to your point, I guess I'm backing up Kyle's point. It's a lot of different things. Some people base their purchase decisions on the reviews, and these reviews are good, but not instant. I must buy at full price. So.
But like I wanted
but then again, Ghost of Tsushima's an 8 too. So what are we doing here? Yeah. So.
Baldur's Gate's a 5 for us.
Yeah. So, what are we doing? We're just saying numbers, aren't we?
It went from being the 5th best to being a 5. Go ahead.
I wanted to show Tim this. So this is the screenshot of the character creator, and this race is called the Kunari, right? Yeah. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And like, I mean, look at that face, right? It's pretty silly looking a little bit.
It is, yeah. Well, and they've looked cooler in past games too, which doesn't help. Yeah.
So,
I don't really like
as an example.
I don't either.
What I mean. So
I don't either. Yeah.
I wanted to show you that, Tim, because to speak to what you were mentioning about the visual style, I think things like that kind of does the game a little bit of an injustice, because people see stuff like that and they're like,
especially
so this is what
Baldur's Gate 3 and the way those characters looked so good.
Yeah, and they look great. But like, this is just this one race. I'd say the rest of them are perfectly fine, but for some reason, this race they designed it where like the forehead is like
race too, so it's like when you give C-3PO a red arm, like people get mad, like that's just, people don't like their stuff
can't be red.
People don't like their stuff to get changed, like and there is a lot of artistic chances taken in this game.
Well, this dude's from Inquisition, I think, which was the one previously. So like,
he's way cooler. Look at him.
Yeah, he's way cooler.
Oh, I recognize this guy. Yeah.
And like he's like a party member, so it's not one that you created. But
this screenshot you just sent, what's the name of the character so listeners can see what you're talking about?
I don't remember.
I forget the name of that character.
He's the guy with the horns from Inquisition.
The male Kunari character from Inquisition who's got the eye patch and he's really badass.
That game is 10 years old, and the detail on that character looks amazing.
Yeah,
compared to the other one.
It's a sharp looking game.
Yeah,
I think what you were talking about with art direction, that definitely, I mean, because when much like when you see a person and you're like, boy meets girl, the first thing you're saying is like, oh, she's pretty, right? You judge something with your eyes first, like that's just what people do. You judge everything with your eyes. So they showed the trailer of this game and they started showing stuff, and I think that's definitely
forgetting that BioWare has lost a lot of faith. Like,
yes.
Like we're talking about the people who killed Mass Effect with Andromeda, and the people who made Anthem, and the people who so
Anthem.
it's like there's a lot of goodwill that's been destroyed by BioWare, and I don't think I buy into all this. I love BioWare. I hope Mass Effect 4 is great. I don't think there's a team that exists
they
anymore.
Still made my favorite MMO of all time, Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah, same, absolutely. So, some of my favorite characters are in this. They just did the first game, but that first game is amazing. Obsidian did a pretty good alley-oop, but I love them as a studio, and we all wish that they were better. Don't we wish every studio was at their best? Sure. Of course we do. But this isn't the nail in the coffin for me. But I know, and I kind of jokingly said it last week, I know this is going to affect Mass Effect 4. Oh, and they did fire a bunch of people, and those people were supposed to be working on Mass Effect 4. It's messy over there right now. Do we see that game now? It was a joke last week. It's kind of reality this week. Be worried. It's not great. You have to make money to make games. And EA is not afraid to shut doors.
Well, I'll tie that into one of our headlines since we're on the topic. EA did announce that they're downsizing BioWare, and the Mass Effect game is not requiring support from the full studio, so an unspecified number of that staff has been transferred to other teams within EA.
Yeah.
And so the BioWare team has been.
I'm glad they didn't get fired. That's cool. At least they're going to work elsewhere, which is nice. Yeah. So good job, EA. That felt weird to say.
So anyway, I kind of like actually that a conversation tied into a headline instead of just reading off headlines. So anyway. Yeah, Dan, I'm glad you're playing it and enjoying it. I'm really glad that Kyle liked it. Yes. And so that's the bottom line. Hey, are you having fun playing this game? It sounds like you are.
It's just we're never going to see Dragon Age again. So
it's dead. I love how the guy, I think it was the art director was like, "Hey, Dragon Age isn't dead. You own it now through your art." And I'm like, "Ooh, you're literally just saying we're never making it ever again. It's up to you guys to keep it alive via
Basically, Dragon Age is now Mufasa in the sky. He's gone, but he's not really gone. Bang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Remember who you are.
Yeah. So it was a good run or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
to be fair, I don't feel like BioWare ever knew what to do with this series. The fact that every game is so different than the last really solidifies that they just were is it Fantasy Mass Effect? Is it our tactical game? Is it our hardcore RPG? They never really quite knew what to do with it, and that's frustrating. And again, I'm a big cheerleader of this brand. I've liked every single entry. Two, maybe not two, but
2 is my least favorite, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I enjoyed parts of 2. It is what it is, and it sucks that it ended the way it is. But hey, beat it. There's finality to it, Dan. You're not gonna feel like there's a missing chapter or anything like that, So
that's good. That's good.
It's not like hearing that your show got canceled as you're halfway through it. It's not like that.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Looking at you, Sandman on Netflix.
Bye.
Oh, did they cancel that? I thought that
they're like, we're gonna put out season 2, but the show's canceled. And it's well, I'm not watching season 2 then. When I get hooked more.
That's like the guys that did the Dark. They had the one season of that show. And
18 set whatever that. Yeah, I know.
1896 or whatever it was. Yeah. That's infuriating. It's infuriating.
Well, to keep it to roughly one, maybe 2 things, watching 1 or 2 things playing for each of us. Dan, is there anything else you want to highlight in either of those realms?
Just really quick, just to put to turn the ship back in a positive direction. My wife and I are playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure, and it's fucking adorable.
People love that game, man. Yeah.
It's actually a good time. It's really cute. It's really cute.
All right. So. Yeah. That's awesome.
It looks really cute. That's the only thing I can say about it.
The way the game opens is hilarious. Do you guys want to know how the game opens?
I do now.
Yeah.
You're on a plane with all the Sanrio characters. You make your character. You're talking to Hello Kitty.
Is it a lost opening?
Yes. So Hello Kitty goes to go make cakes for everybody, and then the chaos ensues in the plane. So that penguin guy that looks all sassy all the time, I'm forgetting his name, starts with a B. He's just I'm out of here, and he jumps out of the plane. So then everyone just lines up in single file, and you jump out of the plane, and you use balloons to hover down.
Of course you do.
And it's and it's actually, the music is actually kind of similar to Mario Wonder. It's ba-da-ba-ba-da. There's kind of that sort of vibe going on with the music. It's actually pretty wholesome, pretty cute.
Early game of the year contender is what I'm hearing.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. 100%.
People are very positive on this game. It's pulling in a lot of. It's like just under 8 out of 10 average, like 77, I think.
Yeah,
at 100 average. That's pretty.
It's better than Ghost of Tsushima. I hear you. Yeah,
yeah,
it's just as good.
100%.
It's just as good.
Yep.
Just as wholesome. Just as wholesome. So
I'll give you 2 quick things that I have watched or have been watching. One, I watched through Shane Gillis series Tires on Netflix, which is getting a second season.
So funny. Ugh.
You do have to be in the right mood to watch it because it is filthy, but it's Shane Gillis. Like, it's his. If you've watched his stand-ups, his specials, and you know what he does, he likes to say something that's just over the line and go like, huh?
Yeah. Huh? I like the check-in. Yeah.
That's the style of the show too. There's a lot of that, and it is very funny. It's him and his friends. Just it's very much like
way more like comedian, like not Easter eggs, but cameos next season. Like there were a few this season,
but I've heard
they're going to do a lot more next season.
I also saw. Did I see it correctly that one? What's the actor from? He played Sandman in Spider-Man 3. Thomas Hayden Church. Is he in it?
Yes.
I think he's in the next season of Tires.
Oh, that'd be cool. Okay.
I think so.
That's awesome.
So
he's always so serious.
I know. But he has done some comedies. Didn't he win an award for that one with him and Paul Giamatti? Yeah.
So good.
Oh yeah.
It's a great.
It's like a dark comedy too, right? Isn't it, if I remember it correctly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Tires, good for some, but definitely if you watch Shane Gillis comedy, like, this guy's so immature, like, do not watch Tires.
Yeah. It's for Shane Gillis fans for sure.
Yeah. So I watched that. I've also been, every time a new one, and YouTube knows I love it now, so I have been kind of YouTube binging, not in order because it doesn't matter, the Hot Ones episodes from First We Feast channel.
Okay.
And those are, and I've seen little clips of them and memes from them over the years, but I never really watched them, and now I've really been watching them. Really appreciate how they do that, and just the level of interview prowess that.
I was gonna say
that dude is so good.
Excellent interviews. Good. Like you'd think it's like, they're just eating chicken wings, stuff like that. It's like, no, the interviews
really
are
good.
Like top notch.
And I'm assuming he's got a great team that has to get a lot of credit for helping do the research and form the questions, but he's the one who's remembering and delivering the questions very well, and he is responding to them. He matches their vibe as they're reacting. Like, I watched the one where DJ Khaled quits after the third one, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's so funny because he is trying to be such a tough guy, and he tries to tell his fans, like, just because I stopped doesn't mean I quit. And Sean's like, that's the definition of the word. Like,
just wait till you get to Bobby Lee pooping himself. That's a good episode.
Does he?
I love Bobby Lee though. But Gordon Ramsay was really funny, but of course,
with the
over prepares. Yeah, Gordon Ramsay was great.
He brought Pepto in. He kept the pulsive out of his bags. I was like, I don't give Gordon Ramsay enough credit for being a showman. He really is a good showman.
He really is a showman.
Oh yeah.
And he's very
Ramsay's
funny.
fantastic.
Like, he's really
funny.
Oh yeah.
So I liked him a lot. Shaq is amazing, and his little meme shot of him going, Kansas can't make hot sauce, and he goes, ooh, at the camera.
That's been memed out. Yeah.
Such a good moment.
But by
far my favorite, the first one I watched, and by far my favorite, is Conan O'Brien. It was.
His was great. Yeah. So animated. God.
So he's a maniac, and he even brings in a fake doctor who's one of his writers, who's so funny. And he interviewed him on his podcast afterwards. I think we talked about this. It was so funny. He asked him, he was like, now, people noticed that when you came to check on me, you put both hands around my neck like this. And he was like, well, I was taking, you said you wanted me to take your pulse. He said, yeah, when did you take my pulse? He goes, well, I was trying to take your pulse. He's like, that's not what that meant.
Jesus.
But anyway, very, very funny. Very fun show. It's a good one to watch while you're eating lunch because it's going to make you hungry. Even though it's spicy, it makes you want
It's funny. That's about what time the launches on Thursdays. It's like lunchtime. So it's like when I'm at work, I'm eating lunch and it comes out. And
it's a good one to watch while you're eating. Yeah.
They know what's up.
And then as far as gaming, I mean, I've tried a few demos here, and of course, been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2. But as far as I played a lot of Halls of Torment recently, which is a Vampire Survivor like. That's the one that I'll highlight. I really am having a blast with that game. There's a ton of stuff to unlock, a lot of characters with unique weapons. Like, it's a really, really good one. It is sitting, I think, at overwhelmingly positive on Steam, because if you like that style of, I think it's kind of like a roguelike bullet hell is kind of the vibe, the genres that I see. There isn't like a garlic like or survivor like genre. So it'll say action roguelike bullet hell. That's usually the combination that leads you to a Vampire Survivor like game. And that's one of the better ones, man. Halls of Torment is really, really great. It has like PS
like $5 usually. Like it's super cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really good. I'm having a blast with that one. So what about you, Kyle? What are some things you're watching or playing?
You got me into that American Primeval show. I have a lot to talk with my therapist this week, so thank you for that, Tim. I appreciate you. That show is really messed up. Super good. We were talking in chat. I'm not always the biggest Peter Berg fan.
Yeah.
I thought he did great with this. I thought he's
really made good. Some really good stuff, and then some pretty like, wow, that was really the Battleship was so bad.
I totally agree with that. Like I like The Kingdom a lot. You know, like I think
Kingdom is excellent.
I think it's an excellent
movie. That might be his best movie that he's made.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that show's great because you and I are playing Red Dead Redemption 2, very cowboy mood. Yeah. Not a lot of yeehawing going on in this, just a lot of crying and coping, you know, like it's rough. A lot of
yeehaw. Hey, Kyle, the Mormons, pretty mean.
Pretty mean, yeah.
Mormons are pretty mean.
I know the show's not like historically accurate, but they paint them as monsters in this show.
I know a number of practicing Mormons who are the sweetest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
So something changed between then and now.
Yeah. Like it's wild. Yeah, it's a wild show. It kind of reminds me of like a less artistic The Revenant. You know, like if The Revenant's all about like moods and shots and stuff like that. This is kind of more of
even
just
the costumes kind of look Revenant like.
Same era. There's even like caravan attacks, like within like Native Americans coming on and like doing and like there's just like there are moments where you're like, yeah, this is from The Revenant. You know, we're one bear attack away from this being like Revenant.
The Revenant bear attack.
Oh. Love that movie, but the show was great. I'm glad you brought it up because I probably wouldn't have watched it because like
pretty impressive TV show action sequence in episode 1.
It looked expensive. Yeah, I thought the whole show looked really expensive.
Filmed as I went and watched it the second time after I like rewound it. I see that again. It's filmed like a long shot. Clearly, there's probably some clever edits and special effects.
Absolutely, but like the Revenant did that too, where it was like it's the same type of attack, and it was like kind of a oneer, but probably with some clever editing in there. But yeah, it's shot like a oneer, and it does a really good job of like making those moments like really tense.
Yeah.
And I cared about the characters. Again, like I was telling you, I was like, I wouldn't watch a show starring Taylor Kish ever. Like he's not my guy, you know. He does great in this. They don't give him a lot of lines, which is good. Like it actually kind of has to do.
They just needed him to smolder a lot, and he did that.
Yeah, he smolders pretty good. Yeah,
he smolders.
And even Jai Courtney, I'm like, I hate that guy, but like he's great in this. Like
he really hams it up, doesn't he?
He really hams it up, but like in a. I don't know. He played a really good villain in this.
I liked him. Yeah.
We talked about the guy from Spider-Man who plays Harry Osborn. I think he's also from Chronicle.
I looked it up. It's Dane DeHaan.
He's great. Yeah,
he's a good actor.
He's really good. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool characters in this, and I like the girl from Glow, the main character. She's great.
Yep.
Great show. I had a good time with it. It's on Netflix if you want to watch a really depressing cowboy show. It reminds me of the movie Hostels also, if you've never seen.
Love Hostels.
So it's so much like that. Yeah. And it's a lot of not vignette stories, but it's like there's main characters in different parts of the world, and like it's covering a lot of different stories. It's not like
I expected more of a Dances with Wolves story, but it is not that. So
no.
Yeah,
there might be like hints of that, but like
maybe
it doesn't like link.
There's scalping that happens in it, which happens in Dances.
Like the first episode, it is really graphic,
so bad.
And then like you see it for the rest of the show. I'm just like,
I know.
Like a bandana,
a hat on, man.
Yeah.
You just see.
Yeah,
which is also very Revenant. Like Tom Hardy is like half scalped in that whole. I'm like, I don't want to look at that, buddy. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Anyways, great show. I had a good time with that. Game wise, I'm just playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I have a new gaming PC that I bought after Christmas, and I'm just downloading a game a day. Because everything's on sale all the time. It's just insane. Every day there's some $5 game. I'm like, yeah, I'll buy that, So now I have like 187 games I'm sitting on. I'm never gonna get to 180 of them. So, but I'm just kind of dabbling on things here and there. I'm not really sticking to really anything right now. I have been playing, like I was saying last week, that Tokyo Extreme Racer. That's still a lot of fun. It's an early access, and still playing Dynasty Warriors Origins. So. Got a lot of rebels to kill in that game, so thousands of them, in fact. Very good. I'm having a good time playing games right now. I'm just very I don't know, ADD about what I'm playing. Just jumping around everywhere, it feels like.
Nice. Oh, I did mean to mention, I did finally play the demo of Blade Chimera, and I really like it. So I'm gonna buy that game.
I've been playing that. Yeah, I'm like a couple hours into that. That's a really cool Metroidvania game that has the audacity to make B the jump button, which is
that's the worst.
I'm trying to get over it, man. But it's
unless
really
it's a Nintendo controller, then it's okay, right? Because that's in the right spot.
Yeah, that's in the right spot. Yeah,
but there's on the Xbox controller,
there's a lot of like I'm having to think about what I'm doing while playing this game that I'm like,
you know what?
Maybe
it's almost as infuriating as Konami games making circle the accept button on most of their games. Like
that's a Japanese thing.
It is a Japanese thing, and I Metal Gear Solid had me trained, but not enough games like had that stick, you know. So it's like, I will get in a loop where I'm just like, okay, god damn it, I can't I can't get to the menu I want to. That Blade Chimera is awesome. I think the music in that game is outstanding, and I think the pixel art in that game is next level. Apparently this dev Ladybug is like a Steam darling. Like everybody loves everything this studio does. They did Dranius, which is like a overly whelmingly positive shoot 'em up game. So like it's considered the best. I haven't played it, but it always pops up on my. You should play this because apparently I've played a couple Ladybug games. But they're check out their library. They got a lot of
Blade Chimera is good.
They got a lot of good stuff.
Speaking of demos, did any? I'm guessing you guys, because you didn't mention it. Was it the first Berserker Kazan?
It's still downloaded. Demo? I just haven't fired it up. But it's
okay. Yeah. I forgot that I mentioned I did dabble in that a little bit. It's pretty cool. Visually stunning. Great anime, like sharp visuals. The combat.
Does it feel like a Souls-like game? Is it faster? Is it more Bloodborne-y?
It does, but faster.
Okay.
Yeah.
It does feel.
Everyone's saying like the difficulty is there, like a Souls game. It's very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. I only really died at a couple of bigger guys. So
you're a pro gamer though.
Yeah, but you're really
sure.
Good at
Right. Of course. But yeah, like it's got a great vibe to it. The visuals look great. The combat like feels nice. It's very violent. So yeah, it seems cool. I actually will keep my eye on that one because I could be picky about those type of games that lean in that direction. So
I feel like the buzz is really positive on that game. I feel like a lot of people are really liking it.
I didn't finish the demo, but I actually quite enjoyed it. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about some headlines, and then we'll go into some new games. And as we're talking about those, we'll show some clips from those games to give us a little B-roll, so it's not just our stupid faces talking at you. And then we'll talk about the 2025 preview, where we'll keep looking at some game clips and trailers while we talk about games that are coming out. So as far as headlines go, this is one of the most roller coastery games that I have seen from the outside looking in. I haven't played it, and that's Multiversus. This game has been through some stuff, but this game delisted from all stores at the end of May. So
ouch.
Their 5th and final season launches next week. Cool, that's exciting. And they said this is the last piece of content. All right, makes sense. You can't support a game with new seasons forever unless it's a huge hit. Fair enough. Oh, and also we're delisting it completely. What? So it's just going away? So like
yeah.
Because it came out and then it went away and then it launched for real.
Yeah.
It's going away this time.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah.
People who put money into this game, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you.
Yeah.
But that was the mistake, is a lesson to not support anything that WB does that's games as a service. Maybe this is the calling, guys.
Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy and Shadows of War only.
Yeah, only single player games from them.
but this had good buzz the first go around.
The first go around, it had great buzz. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
it's because they went away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was the mistake. They went away.
Money, which I thought was insane, and like maybe people knew. I wasn't keeping up with that. I don't know if they knew that they were gonna that they were buying into a temporary demo, but like I didn't know, and we're all pretty dialed in here, so it felt crazy to me.
Me too.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Well, they launched it, and then they were like, "Hey, just like we told you guys, we're taking it offline." I'm like, "You didn't tell anyone."
I know. Yeah. It felt shady and weird, but I don't. It just felt.
That shady. Was the video game company version of, per my previous email. It's like you suck.
Yeah. You guys suck. Yeah.
There was no email.
Anyway, Multiversus. Bye bye. interesting run there. All right, let's talk about something more positive, though. The Sleeping Dogs IP is one that we on this show have talked about. I finally got it off my backlog Hall of Shame last year. So not 2024, but 2023. I played it all the way through and really enjoyed it. I still highly recommend. It goes on deep sales all the time. Grab the definitive edition of that thing, play it and all its DLC. It is an absolute blast. But that game seemed all but dead. Like no one's gonna like. It just didn't make enough money, and it's a bummer.
When they tried an MMO that was like only in China or Japan, I forget where like it launched in, but like it never came here, and it was a total bust. Yeah.
Well, I knew that Donnie, what's his name, martial arts guy,
Yen.
Donnie Yen had talked about doing a movie for this for a while, or at least he was connected to one somehow. Right. But then that was pretty much canceled. Like all but officially canceled, even though it wasn't even officially greenlit. But it was canceled. That project was. But now, Simu Liu is, I think how you say his name, the guy from Shang-Chi. He's awesome. He's a great actor. I really enjoy him. Like, in Barbie, he's hilarious. So like I really like that actor.
He's got big leading man energy to me. Like
he does. You know. He carried Shang-Chi. Like he was to me, he was the thing about Shang-Chi that made it work. Was a lead character that I cared about and really enjoyed. But he is the one saying, I want to make Sleeping Dogs happen as a movie, and then I'd like that to lead to a sequel to the game. So he is a fan of the game, wants a sequel to the game, and thinks the way to get there is to make money with a movie. So they are. And he has talked about how it is so disheartening to try to pitch over and over and over and over again to all these studios who don't know anything about the game, and trying to get something green that's impossible. But then he sees the passion of fans of the game get behind him again, and that gives him energy to keep trying. So. It might not happen, but I appreciate him for giving it a try.
Shang-Chi trying to win for us. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Same. Thanks, buddy. So that'd be really cool. Though I would support the movie, and I really want a game.
Yeah, same. Even if the movie sucks, like if that gets us a sequel to a game, that's great. If the movie's great too, that's all great. These are great things.
Even if it's a B movie, that's fine. Just a lot of like action
and you could pitch this movie, just be like, hey, it's just internal affairs. You know, like that's what.
That's what it is.
Doing. Yeah, but with kung fu, and it's like all right,
some kick-ass fighting scenes, you know.
Yeah, the cutscenes from that game are better than a lot of the cutscenes I see in games made today. It's just saying.
They're dude, that game is fun. And like, yes, the story's by the numbers, great execution though. Like just the beats that you hit in that story are great. You know, you've seen it before if you've seen any Hong Kong action flick, but like it is.
You'll like
or any Donnie Yen flick. Every single movie he's ever done is I'm a cop who's undercover and I'm gonna kicky punchy my way out to but
so I'm awesome.
We love it every
but
time.
I'm also good.
Yeah, I know, but deep down I'm a good person.
Yeah. I'm honorable while I kill everyone.
How that works.
All right. Not that this is a surprise. We know that Xbox has been sharing the love of all their games across as many consoles and platforms as they can, it seems. Forza Horizon 5 is officially coming to PlayStation 5 in a series first, hitting this spring on the PS5. I think this is awesome. This is
awesome.
I am not a big racing game fan, and this was one of my favorite games of that year, and a very strange year for gaming anyway. But I loved that game. I still do. And PS5 gamers, I think, are going to love it too. If they'll let go of the Microsoft thing, let go of your hate and embrace the game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
We won, basically. We've won. We won the console war. We win. That's it. That's how
I don't know.
It's over.
It's kind of crazy to think about that Xbox is like the biggest. They're almost like one of the biggest publishers of games right now, like because they're just putting this stuff on everything. Like
they were the number one publisher, I think, of the last couple months or something. They put out the numbers, and Microsoft was by far the number one.
Yeah, like that's cool. Good for them. Their moves are moving. They are going in the right direction. You know,
they're telling us that they're not doing that, but they're absolutely doing that.
Yeah, because like, what's the rumor is that like they're about to announce like Starfield and Halo and for like Switch 2 and PS5 and like these leaks have been going around for like 6 months now.
Halo to me would be the biggest thing. That'd be the biggest.
That's insane. Yeah, that would be.
It's the gangster move. It's like, hey, you guys couldn't make a Halo killer, so we're just gonna give you Halo.
And we're gonna make money off of each one that you sell.
Yeah. Sit this, you guys, you're done.
Dude,
you tried. Sorry.
How many copies do you think Halo would sell on the PS5? The latest.
I don't know, man. Because you bring up a good point. Maybe people are like bullheaded and they're like, I don't care about Halo.
I think it would be millions.
I think
it would.
I really hope so. I hope people don't
let's say it's not infinite. Let's say it's the next Halo. Let's say they launch Halo 6 or whatever.
Well, the collection,
I think if they just put the Master Chief Collection on there.
Yeah,
I think well. Yeah.
That's the rumor, right? Is the collection?
Yeah, because that is the rumor. Is that the collection's coming?
Dude, I can't imagine playing Halo.
And they're talking about the remake. There's a remake of the one that is a rumor. It's not announced, but it's a very big rumor that keeps on circulating. An Unreal 5 Halo remake, cool. Which would be awesome. That's everyone's favorite, right? So
I think a really important element, if they can execute on it, pertaining to what Tim's saying, asking about the sales, is cross-play with the multiplayer.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if all games aren't cross-play going forward, what are we doing?
No, I think they would require a Microsoft account, just like they do with Minecraft.
Which is fine. I think that's okay. Yeah, but then you do crossplay. Yeah. I think that's okay. If Sony makes you sign up for their thing, then you sign up for Microsoft. I think that's totally fair.
Yeah, Microsoft just wants you in their ecosystem, man. They're like, you can play wherever. Just give us your information, which is worth a lot of money, and then give us your money.
Yeah.
But that would be insane, though. Like PS5 people playing with Xbox people playing Halo. Like,
I know.
That's just like, what is this universe that we're living in?
Guys. That's the world peace that every politician cannot figure out. They can't crack the
code. Yeah, we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Halo,
which is ironic because it's a shooting game, and they're always saying that we're brain dead, crazy people because we play shooty games.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna say it here, guys. I think Phil Spencer should be our next president. All right, let's go to the next.
God damn.
Sure.
Because why not? Yeah,
why not? At this point, why not?
Because why not? All right, so Summer Games Fest. I think this was already known. It was news to me though that the date is set for June 6th, and they're already starting to promote a little bit of how it's going to be. Of course, all the announcements and celebration. And
is he telling us to get excited or not excited yet? Because that's my favorite bit of
they're
news.
saying just put it on your calendars, but don't feel anything yet. Is what they say.
Okay, yeah, all right, good. Yeah, because every once in a while Jeff will be like, "Guys, don't be excited for this one." I'm like, "I appreciate your honesty, but that's weird marketing."
I just want to keep.
He just doesn't want the backlash.
Check.
He doesn't want the backlash.
Summer Game Fest set for June 6th. Very exciting. Would love to see some sort of return of something like E3, or this become something where people are.
Yeah.
Person that I can watch from a distance. That'd be cool, but this is still cool. I still like what they do.
Last year they had a really good outdoor bunch of booths, and so I hope that keeps growing. Okay. Yeah, there was a little, but it was just for industry people, So I hope that keeps growing, which is good because I'd rather the industry people play it and let us know what's going on rather than a bunch of nobodies. But maybe open that up, be bigger and bigger every year, and maybe one day we wake up and it's kind of E3 if you close your eyes and squint just enough. It's just enough E3. You know?
I like it. Jeff Keighley, Key 3. Maybe that's what they call it. They'll call it
Keighley 3.
We talked about BioWare downsizing, at least in terms of the BioWare team members being in BioWare. They're still at EA. They're just now dispersed. Those of the team that were working on Dragon Age and maybe potentially other projects, anything that's non-Mass Effect, it seems, has been dispersed. But I don't know. They didn't give any numbers. It just sounds like they've only kept the team needed for the next Mass Effect game.
Yeah, and then I think it's because Mass Effect is still in pre-production, which I'm like, what's going on over there? We don't need we don't need devs yet, we're not at that stage. It's this game's 8 years off, right? That's insane.
Sure.
I didn't put this in there either, but there's a lot of stuff happening with Ubisoft, as we know. We talked about this a little bit, where are they getting selling off IP and getting dismantled? Are they just going to be purchased and continue on? Are they going to somehow recover? And who knows what's going to happen with Ubisoft, if that will even exist as a brand name anymore in the near future. We have no idea. But we do know that their marquee release of Assassin's Creed Shadows has been, let's call it troubled, to say the least. By the way, this doesn't diminish, and we'll watch a little bit of film or clips from it as we go through our preview for 2025. Doesn't diminish my excitement. I'm excited to explore this world and play this game. I really am. But I don't know if you guys have noticed in their recent trailer, really focusing heavy on the Shinobi character. And it seems like that is becoming more of becoming more clear that she is the central character, with Yasuke still being a key player, someone that you control at times. But it seems like she's really at the center.
She's the assassin, so that would make sense.
Well, and you can choose who to play. Like, you could never play with her if you don't want. I think there might be like some moments in.
I'm curious to see if that's changed, because the way they're marketing it right now, it seems like she is shifted to the center.
For all the people who got that like 6 hours of hands-on time with it, everyone actually said that they didn't really like playing with her.
Oh
that
my gosh,
everyone was playing with the Yasuke or whatever.
Yasuke,
so it's.
Well, did you watch the Michael Huber? Is that what you're?
Well, him and there was a couple other people that had hands-on time. It was Lawrence and Bruce over at Insider Games. Like everyone just seems like they're gravitating a little more towards Yasuke, and they all said that's like you choose who you want to play as. Like, there might be missions where it's like, you have to play as this person because it's a personal thing to them or whatever.
I see.
But like that's not great though, right? Like I think it should be fun to play both characters. That's what was interesting is that like the more I was reading the hands-on time, I heard a couple of good things for you and me, Tim, because at least I know where you stand on this. Is that it's Odyssey? It's just Odyssey. Like, but they said that it's just Odyssey. Like, there's not a lot of like big jumps in terms of like new things to do and yada yada, which is kind of a letdown, you know,
because it's taken so long to make it, right? Because when you went from Origins to Odyssey, that was 1 year between those two games.
Right. So it's just, you know, and the more I was kind of diving in, like at the surface, it seemed like it was really positive. Like, I even said in chat, I was like, it seems like people are really liking it. But the more I was actually like reading and looking into and watching the full explanations of stuff, people are in the cautiously optimistic area of this game.
Right.
A lot of people aren't like 100% on board or whatever. And again, that doesn't diminish my excitement. I like samurai stuff. I love Odyssey. If it's just more Odyssey with samurai paint, I'm fine with that, you know. But I understand that is maybe not going to be the case for everybody, and I totally understand too, you know.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to
it's heavy emphasis.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say it's heavy emphasis on sneaking character versus like just a brute character. That's what I was like kind of getting the gist of, is like, well, you could just be the brute and just like waltz in and just demolish everything, or you could be the sneak and like take your
Odyssey,
time.
Right? You could your way
absolutely.
Through
it. Yeah. And Huber was saying like it just in most cases it just made sense to just walk in through the front door and just kill people. Like, whereas
your special attacks, you actually want enemies around you so you can then slam the ground and just like kill everything. Like,
Spartan kick it back, you know. So there's you know, so you have that like shift, hold down R1, hit a face button type of special moves and stuff. It's Odyssey. That's all. You
gotta stop talking about Odyssey, because I'm gonna jump into that as soon as I'm done with Red Dead Redemption 2.
Don't jump onto on PC though. Apparently a recent update like killed that game.
Broke
on
it.
PC.
Oh, that's a bummer, dude. If you jump into Odyssey now, even just the main area, it's such a freaking huge map. There's so many things to do.
Yeah,
and then you get to the DLC and there's like 3 more, not quite as big, but large maps to go through. Crazy. So anyway, Ubisoft will be interesting to see.
I'm hopeful.
2 months. It's out in 2 months. We'll see soon.
Yeah.
We'll see soon.
I don't think it's gonna.
I think it's gonna get pushed back.
We could do. We could do.
No,
like,
I'm saying it's gonna not do well.
We could do Metacritic predictions and sales predictions right before it comes out to see how close we get.
Love that. Yeah.
Right now, I'm leaning towards it probably finishing, as far as ratings go, in the high 70s. So
I was thinking
not
77.
like news breaking.
I was thinking
like,
77.
It'll be like disappointing for some, but on par with what a lot of people expect, where it's a high 7s, maybe a low 8 at best. But who knows, man? What if it comes out and it's like a 92 and it's like, holy crap?
I hope, dude. I hope. Yeah.
I doubt it. But
I mean, especially with the previews of people kind of trying to look at it as objectively as possible. But like, like, what is it doing right? What is it doing wrong? What are the change? You know, and clearly cautiously optimistic is the word.
It was a bummer to hear so many people who were excited for it come out going like, I hope it's good. You know, it's like, that's not.
Yeah, it's not good.
That's not great.
Hey, you know what other recent game went through one little like extra month or two of polish before it launched was Suicide Squad. So just keep that in mind.
That game ended up doing really well.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, The Last of Us was also like that. Right? The Last of Us did that.
That's true. That's a good point. All right. So No Man's Sky, which I don't know how this game doesn't win the award for labor of love like every year. It's just incredible. I understand. I'm not saying no other game is deserving, but this one to me is so impressive what the team at Hello Games keeps doing. But they just launched their Worlds Part 2 update, which adds, according to them, trillions of new planets, which is crazy to me.
Trillions.
Crazy. So he always puts out a tweet or a post on Instagram, whatever you follow on, with kind of just a bullet pointed list with little icons of each new feature that's added. So they've added gas giants, new terrain, lighting overhaul, new inventory sorting, new solar systems, which I think is why you've got the trillions of new planets, is because they're adding all new solar systems that are now purple, by the way. So it's like a new, there's blue, there was green, there was red, there's white, now there's purple. So it's giving you some new indication. Yeah, I think you probably also have to have a new type of drive to get there, I would guess. Deep oceans now, so there's deep ocean creatures as well.
That's what's crazy to me is like the planets are already big. Now there's depth to the planets.
Yeah,
even more so because there used to be caverns, or there still are caverns, but now there's monsters in the water. And
yep, there's new weather hazards. There's the ability to archive starships. You can play, if you want to, called abandoned mode, where there's no NPCs in the entire universe. You can just explore, and it's totally empty if you want to just explore and craft and build on your own. Well, that had some NPCs, right?
Yeah,
but this would have none. So everything you find is abandoned.
That sounds bleak.
It does sound bleak, but I could see the appeal in some ways. But then I'm like, no, I need to go buy some stuff sometimes from these weird little aliens. Improved cooking, story, a new expedition. Anyway, a freaking crap ton of content again in their latest update, Worlds Part 2. So
that's pretty crazy.
If this was your only game, you've been taken care of.
You're good.
Yeah. You've been taken care of all these years,
You're absolutely good. So, my son actually just started jumping back into this one recently, and he goes, "Oh, there's an update." And then he started reading it. He goes, "Dad, did you see what they did?" I was like, "Yeah, man.
Like, what?
Good luck.
What did they do?"
Good luck. Yeah. So that's pretty exciting. Pretty cool. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about some new games that are out. And while we're talking about it, I'm going to share my screen so we can kind of have a little B-roll of these game trailers. You can see a lot of times we'll say this game's out, it kind of looks like this, and one of us will go look at it on our own screen like, oh, that looks really cool. So if you're listening or watching, the onus then is on you to go and look it up for yourself. Well, I'm going to try, when I have time to prepare for this ahead of time, to pull up video or screenshots of these things while we're talking about them so we can show them more to you guys as we're talking about them. I don't know if I'll be able to be consistent, but I was able to put together a playlist on YouTube for this. I'm not going to share my audio, so that way we can still talk. It'll just be the video. So,
Tim, also just a heads up, you missed the Lunar Remastered collection. Is that on?
I'm so
Clearly,
sorry.
Tim hates old RPGs.
I do, especially the one coming out on March 6th.
Yeah.
Especially the Suikoden series. Don't even talk to me about that.
Don't even talk to me.
Don't even talk to me about it. All right, so some new games that are out this week. So we'll start with Tales of Iron 2, which that is another thing that I'm actually spending a lot of time playing. So as you can see from this, got a very unique art style. I love the way all the creatures in this look. And by the way, the armor design is super cool in this game. Everything you get, you actually put on and you look different when you equip it. Every weapon, every helmet, every breastplate or gloves or whatever, not gloves. Anyway, you got all these different armor sets you can have. And yeah, it's very violent too, by the way.
The laser eye though, and that one guy, it's like, whoa, okay. Wasn't expecting that.
It's one of those games that has very clear dodge when this happens, parry when that happens, hold block when that happens. So you're just watching for the color indicators on the enemies, and learning their patterns. And it is very tough. You'll die a lot in this game. So it is not by any stretch an easy game, but man, the upgrades are super cool. As you can see here, they're upgrading like the castle, which of course at the beginning it's very sad, things get destroyed, but you upgrade it over time. You recruit, see there's a destroyed, but you recruit and rebuild kind of your homeland and your castle, and that part's really fun.
It's one of my favorite mechanics in any game.
Yeah, it's super great.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, you've recruited the chef to come, now they can make meals, and if you do these, and this will give you the certain buff. Or hey, you request
very Suikoden thing.
You upgraded the smithy, and now you can take your weapons to level 2 instead of just level 1. And so, and it makes and by the way, the weapon tier system looks like a very light version of Monster Hunter to me, because as you defeat monsters and bosses or side quests, you'll unlock a new path for a new type of weapon. And then you can go from level 1, and then you take that one and you get all the materials. Now you can make level 2 of it, make level 3 of it. So very, very cool. I'm loving this game. I'm really hooked on it. A lot of status effects too. It's very, think of it like almost Pokemon-esque because of all the different elements involved. And there's not that many elements, I guess, but you have to figure out what they're strong and weak against. There's a bestiary that you can look through and kind of see, oh, okay, this guy is weak against poison and he's strong against lightning. So that means he's probably going to hit me with lightning. So I'm going to put all my lightning resistant gear and equip my poison weapons and go into that battle. It's all that kind of stuff. Very, very satisfying.
This looks crazy deep for sure.
Yeah. Really fun.
Was the first one this deep?
The first game was this deep. There's a few elements they've added to this, but yes, the first game was not as much of the city building, some of it, not as much of the upgrades, but it was there. But the combat systems were all there. And so yeah, each type of animal is its own clan. So you've got these evil frogs, but not all of them are evil. You've got these evil bats, and then you got these moles that have like a lot of technology, like a whole subway system. And you got owls up in the trees living like Ewoks. So yeah, super, super cool. Highly recommend this game. Also out, Kyle, you've been playing a little bit of this one. Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, maybe playing a little bit of this, yeah.
Dynasty Warriors Origins is out. Have you been playing any more since we last chatted?
Yes, yeah, a lot, yeah.
Okay, so how far are you, do you think?
I don't know. I'm at the beginning of the Dongzhuo rebellion. I'm over a dozen hours in at this point. I think I was like 18 hours last time, so I'm probably closer to like 22 or something now.
Do you do a lot of the horseback combat? I know you can fight.
No, I've never in these games. I hate fighting on horseback. I like at the very beginning of the match, I immediately just jump off my horse.
Gotcha.
But you can like build your character to be a horse guy or not horse guy. Like there are some stats going on and stuff like that in all of these games. But like this game is definitely the most. I think we were talking about it last time. A little more like engaging. It's tough and there's a lot of mechanics and. I still haven't unlocked a lot of these mechanics that I even witnessed in the demo, but I am slowly making my way. I was doing every little thing on the Tiny Tina's board over, the overworld map for the longest time, not realizing that they were infinite.
So, yeah.
So every single fight, I was like, I was going through every skirmish and doing every little thing. And I just hit a really hard match right now where I met Lu Bu for the first time, who's just like monstrous. He's the most craziest, fighter of this time or whatever. The whole object of the match is just to run away from him. And he keeps on catching up and killing me in one hit. So it has been a nightmare. So I have to probably look up a walkthrough.
So he is a monster.
He's a total monster. Yeah. I'm really liking this game. It's a lot of fun, man. But these are my jam. These are like my palate cleanser games. This is just not a palate cleanser. It's been very engaging this time. So I'm actually playing a real video game instead of just a shut your brain off and hit 100 people type of game. So,
well, this game looks like it could be a palate cleanser for me. It's just $40 is a little steep right now for an unknown IP from a AA looking studio, but the vibes are really cool. Our buddy Derek has played it and really is liking it. I love the art style of this. It's called Eternal Strands. And there's a demo out for it if you want to give it a try. But I love open world action adventure, the colorful art style, kind of a brand new world with new lore rules. I want to understand like what you can and can't do and why you're doing it. So I'm very intrigued by this one. It's just, I've got so many other things I'm currently really invested in. If I spend $40, it's just going to sit there until
$40 is steep, but I'll pick this up on a sale for sure. It does look pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is giving me, what was that Ubisoft game?
Yeah, looks like that.
Immortals.
Phoenix Rising. Like Immortals and Shadows of the Colossus, like with the way that
but like more interesting. Yeah. But like more interesting and not as like humorous. Like it
not
seemed,
as cartoony.
I mean, I could be. Like
look at that climbing. Looks very Zelda-like, right? With the climbing, chopping
doing
trees.
It right. They're doing it right.
Yeah, looks pretty fun.
I mean, Eternal Strand. I feel like the name of the game is kind of just silly. Eternal Strands. Not that it matters. That ultimately shouldn't matter about purchasing the game, but it's not like I don't know.
I don't know. I've been railing on the new Yakuza games title every chance I get.
Sometimes the title matters. Like I think Immortals Phoenix Rising is actually a title that ended up hurting it in the long run. It just wasn't super.
I do too. Yeah. Like no one who is not playing Like a Dragon games is not picking up Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Like no, like who. You have to be in the.
I don't know. That's a
game.
That's a plus for me.
I will say this: they're going to win on a lot of SEO terms, though. You got to give them that.
That's true.
So there is
that is true.
So Eternal Strands. Sorry, see, Immortal Strand. I'm gonna get it all confused.
It is generic word.
It
know
is,
what I mean?
Yeah.
It does look like
it looks cool.
Maybe like an AI maybe made the name or something.
Well, check out this game. It's called The Stone of Madness. It's from the folks who made Blasphemous 1 and 2, and they also are doing the upcoming Ninja Gaiden Ragebound game that's coming out this summer.
Yeah.
But this game, they call it a tactical stealth adventure game set in 18th century Spanish monastery with this hand-drawn art style. It looks really interesting.
Reminds me of Pentiment a little bit.
A little Pentiment vibe, with some of that art style and maybe some of the even way you move around.
Classic PC, like over the top, like over the shoulder, not over the shoulder, over the top. Yeah, kind of like adventure games, like kind of puzzly adventure games. Like kind of reminds me of that.
So Stone of Madness is out now. You can give that one a look. Oh, commercial. Hang on. Incredible deals. You guys can shop.
Are we getting some of this?
It knows the things that I search for, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I haven't searched for guitars though, but whatever.
It sees a guitar in the background. It's like, hey, we
you like guitars.
Oh, they're looking at my webcam.
They are.
So Citizen Sleeper 2 is out. It's on Game Pass too if you want to give it a try. Of course, these games get like 97 averages on the scores. Like people love them. I just don't know much about these games.
These are visual novels, you know what I mean? So it's like you have to kind of know what you're getting into with these types of games. Citizen Reader is what I like to call it.
Citizen Reader. It can put you to sleep, is what you're saying. Citizen Sleeper.
Yeah.
I think it said dice-driven RPG though, so there's definitely some RPG elements.
There are some. Yeah. There are some.
Maybe they added more for the second one.
Maybe. I think the first one had some kind of like elements of that, but there might be more gameplay elements in this. But
that is
these games are highly revered. Especially
people are loving it. So if that's your kind of game, absolutely worth it.
It looks interesting.
A look. Same with Resetna. It's this cool looking Metroidvania game that I wanted to highlight. That is out now too. Looks really, really interesting. They call it action adventure side scrolling game, but the user reviews were describing it as a pretty solid Metroidvania game. So I thought the style of it looked pretty neat and worth highlighting. Resetna.
I want to keep a count of how many Metroidvania games come out this year.
Well, here's one that's kind of in that realm, but a little more like Souls.
There you go, 2, Kyle. We're at 2 already.
This is Ender Magnolia. This is Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist.
Oh, so yeah. Okay.
It did technically come out in early access last year, but now it's official full release and on all platforms. So its official release date will be forever known as
Still have to play that first one.
Yeah, me too.
I need to play that first one.
Art style's great. The gameplay features and the way that you get these enders or these souls is really cool, and you can upgrade your skills and equip different ones. It is very neat. Like, see that? Like, that's one of the souls that you equip. It's a guy that helped launch her up there, and they kind of like hover over you. Like, see that? The person with the axe.
Yeah.
So you kind of like summon these different.
Her persona.
This looks kind of cool though. I'm super into this. I just know that I'm like, I
played about 2 hours of the first one, and I really liked it. I can't tell you why I didn't keep playing it. I don't know why I didn't get.
That happens sometimes, you know.
I have no idea, and I really want to. So I'm absolutely going to dive back in.
I think I just nabbed it as one of the games with my gift cards for Christmas. I could be wrong.
So here's another Vampire Survivor like.
The first one.
Gotcha.
This one is called Jotun Slayer: Hordes of Hell. I played the demo of this. It was a lot of fun. So it's a Nordic mythology.
This looks
Vampire
sharp.
Survivor like, really good. Yeah, really cool visuals.
Looks hectic.
Very hectic, fun classes, but very sharp visuals. It's not going for the pixel art style.
No, it looks expensive compared to something like.
Yeah, look at the explosions; those look really cool. You got some cool classes too, and the boss fights are pretty epic. So, yeah, Jotun Slayer, I highly recommend giving it a look if you like Vampire Survivor like games. Not super expensive either. I think it's on sale right now. So that one is out. This one's called Polaris. I am not convinced this is totally out. Maybe it's just early access, but I did like the look of it. It does look like
familiar.
Mostly multiplayer centric, but the art style was cool enough that I thought it was worth highlighting.
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, Polaris does sound familiar to me too.
Yeah, it says team up with your comrades to liberate your home system's planet and lay waste to your oppressors. So I think it's a co-op action adventure shooter. So there you go, Polaris.
A bunch of words there.
Mark of the Deep, which I mentioned.
Yes, I have this on my wish list.
That pirate themed isometric action adventure RPG looking game, but yeah, it has that pirate thing. And I think Dan, you mentioned, and I'm like, this is totally true. It looks like one of those League of Legends games.
Yeah.
It looks like a spinoff from that series, even though I don't think it is, but it looks like it could be. So looks very neat. I like the way this one looks. It's on my wish list. I just haven't nabbed it yet either. Too many games to play, apparently. Too many games. We mentioned this ad that we're watching now for this credit card in Spanish. Yeah.
It knows where you're located.
Yeah, totally.
In Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh, that's concerning.
So this is the Rangers of the South, which we talked about briefly. It's got that really cool art style, that 2D, 3D look and feel. It is an action game, though. It's not a turn-based RPG, which is, I assumed it would go to a fight screen and you pick attack or defend or whatever, but no, it is an actual like action RPG. But it's a roguelike too, so you kind of build your character on each run, kind of a thing. So, but I do like the way it looks.
And it costs nothing, right? This is like $2.99 or something like that.
I think it's pretty cheap. I actually haven't looked recently, but yeah, I think it's pretty.
This is on my wish list too. Yeah, this one looks cool.
Looks pretty neat. We also have so now we're getting into the preview for games that are coming up. So I think that's all the stuff that is out. A few others that I didn't add in here, like Ninja Gaiden II Black is out. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD is out. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Spider-Man 2 are both on PC now.
Sure. And running great.
One of them is getting a lot.
I hope at least one of them is. Yeah.
I think Rebirth is in better shape. Still needs some clean, but I think generally speaking, people aren't like furious about it.
Right.
I don't know if it's.
I was poking fun at Spider-Man.
Spider-Man apparently.
Spider-Man is a mess.
Like Sony keeps talking about.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I would say Sony just keeps saying how they're like, oh yeah, we're really happy about diving into the PC space, and it's like, are you though? Because you don't seem it. Effing it up, like
yeah, it's crazy. It really is crazy.
Like, don't give people a reason to hate, like PC players a reason to hate console games. Like you got you have a whole market that's tappable here that you're just screwing the pooch a little bit here.
So as you can see here with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on pause here on the screen, we're going to kind of go through rapid fire a whole bunch of games that are coming up in 2025 that we know about. There's going to be some that you might scoff and say there's no way that's coming out this year. That's totally fair. You might be right. It might not come out this year. But we have information that it is slated for 2025. A good example of that will be Fable. It's possible that game won't come out this year. I agree. I'm hopeful that it will. And same with Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, those are currently slated for this year for one reason or another. And if they aren't this year, then I apologize for doing
believe. You
gotta believe.
So Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is the next kind of notable game to launch. It launches this week on February 4th. Now, I never really played the first one. I don't know if you guys did either. It's got a really like dark and gritty medieval vibe to it, right?
And it's an immersive sim, so it's like you know that, going in, which I didn't, and I was like, this is hard and obtuse, and it's like, that's an immersive sim, right? And slow, Very well put together game though, especially for a studio's first try, and apparently this is just like doubling down on everything they did right with a bigger budget, a bigger team. So
it looks nice for a smaller team.
It does look nice. It's a first-person game, right, Kyle? Isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But this is
it's like brutally hard. Like it's not, not like a Souls game or anything like that. Like think like more like maybe like Stalker or something like that, where it's just like everything it can kill you.
So you can die fast.
Yeah, and you can interact with anything. You can pick up anything. You can sell. It's just like it's one of those like Skyrim-y type of games in terms of
it looks nice in this gameplay that we're seeing of the game in action. It looks nice.
And the story is really good in the first game. I played about 14 hours of it before I was just like,
okay. Yeah. Is there a lot of like one-on-one duel type fighting? Or
What's hard is when it's not one-on-one. Like you can kind of like it's directional. So like the way that they're like telegraphing their attack, you need to make sure that on the reticle of your combat HUD that you're moving your sword in that direction. So it's kind of like you're seeing it here. See red, green. Like you're watching it. Like you're having to you're having to like match like attacking from. This guy's doing really well. I could never.
You have to really pay attention to that little.
It's just me like getting like stomped by 3 guys was basically my experience. But like yeah, if you really can get into like the pairing and really get into like how it works, like the combat is very rewarding. It's just it's hard, you know. It's purposefully hard, you know.
Interesting. Well, there you go. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 hits next week. In the same vein, in the first person, but this time fantasy instead of medieval setting, is Avowed, which is slated for 2 weeks after that on February 18th. Sorry if I said a different date. February is in the month that we're talking about right now. So February 4th, then February 18th. So what do you guys think of what you've seen of Avowed so far? I realize this is an old trailer, but it's the only one I could find that was just gameplay without a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah.
But what did you guys think? I'll try to skip ahead here a little bit.
Everyone who gets their hands on with this game loves it. Everybody gets crazy. Yeah. The good like word.
Are you guys pretty hyped for this one?
Extremely for me. Yeah, loved Outer Worlds.
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask, like, because I haven't really watched a lot of it. Is it like Fantasy Outer Worlds where it's more focused, kind of like
Fantasy Outer Worlds? It's gonna be the same length, the same scope in terms of how big the areas are. It is in the Pillars of Eternity world, so like the lore is already baked in. You know,
they actually are putting a lot of lore videos right now.
They are, yeah. You can catch up on a lot of that lore.
I didn't know it's tied to Pillars. That's cool.
It is, yeah. So like, there's gonna be guns and magic and swords and yada yada. Like it's kind of a Fable 3, you know, like where it had kind of guns and magic and stuff like that as well.
If that first person combat feels good, I'm gonna love this. The setting looks great.
That's the thing, is that like it's really easy to be like, oh, it's gonna have like Skyrim combat where it's kind of wonky in first person. People are saying the combat's really good in this game. A lot of people are playing like mage and like ranged and stuff like that. But I have heard some people say that even the sword play is really good. So that's cool.
Speaking of sword play, how about these pirate Yakuzas in Hawaii? So we've got it's Like a Dragon.
Dude, look at
that. That's going to hit on February 21st. So 3 days after Avowed, we get this, which is just crazy.
Mean for me.
This combat looks super fun.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, these games rock, dude. These
games.
This
is not RPG then.
No. So you know, the numbered games are now like the RPG games, and then like this, and I you know, a couple years ago we got the man who lost his name or whatever. These titles for these games are so insane. And they are the old school style beat 'em up, you know, combo heavy, fast paced, yada yada. And this is a fan favorite, Goro Majima. Everyone loves playing as him, and he's nutty and insane, and he's going to go on a big murdering spree. It's going to be a good time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Like a Dragon continuing its streak of releasing at least one game from that studio per year.
Yeah, so, and this is they're just reusing the Hawaii map from Infinite Wealth, which I just love that they do that. They're like, good. Yeah, we reuse assets, and you're gonna show up, you know.
And we're gonna make a really fun game.
We got you, you know.
Yeah, and we're gonna make a really fun game that feels like a different experience.
And they never like overblow their expectations for sales, so they always work within their own budget. So they always ensure that they make a profit, and it's just like that's how you run a business, you know. I don't know.
Okay, guys, that guy just threw his swords like a boomerang and then caught it in his teeth when it came back.
I feel like I've seen some ninjas. So we're gonna get some like pirate versus ninja stuff too. It's just
pretty incredible.
And there's ship battles too, which like Assassin's Creed style ship battles, which is insane.
Pretty incredible. Well, guys, just a few days, like a week after that, on the 28th of February, we have Monster Hunter Wilds, which is looking so gorgeous, and I cannot wait for this game. It looks so good. Even the character, even like these character models, their faces look different. It's like the engine just looks. Is it a totally new engine? It looks improved, that's for sure. It looks different.
I wonder if they're using the RE engine for this. I don't know what they're using.
Look how good
that looks. Obviously looks gorgeous all the time, and they probably just keep upgrading it, and it looks amazing. So.
They're like, we're not using Unreal. They might be using Unreal for this, I don't know.
They've been putting out some really cool videos too, focusing in on some of the new monsters. There was one recently called like Black Blood or something like that, but it's so creepy and so cool. Lots of goopy stuff during that fight falling all around you. Man, it looks nuts. I'll fast forward here a little bit.
And it's supposed to be really story heavy, so like even if you don't care about that stuff, it doesn't really matter. But like if you need something to kind of pull you along on these hunts, like there is a cohesive like story, which the last game kind of played with, but they're kind of
Worlds had some.
And this one's going to be a little more cutscene heavy, is what I hear. So, which is fine by me. like this, all this stuff looks fun. So
look at that. Look at that monster
engine.
on the.
It is the RE engine. I feel like
yeah,
Capcom uses that for everything.
But dude, the mounts, there's multiple different types of mounts to use now. Man, it just looks so fun.
Because there was more focus on Rise with the mount, right? So
there was, that's true.
They're leaning into
that.
This is a nice marriage between Rise and Worlds.
I never did play Sunbreak, but I did finish the mainline game of Rise and really loved it. I think Worlds is still the best Monster Hunter game. Still my favorite. But Rise was very good. I did enjoy it quite a bit.
There was something so special about Monster. I mean, I put like 200 hours into that game. Monster Hunter Worlds is like one of the coolest games. So good. When you watch like what you're seeing here, like when you watch two monsters start fighting each other, and like it just happens like completely randomly. There's magic, dude. It's like
that game kicked off. I think it was 2018. Could have been 2017. I think it kicked off 2018, which was of course an incredible year of gaming with all the things you already mentioned. But what a way to kick off a year, and this is looking like it's going to do the same thing for 2025. It's going to kick us off.
This is a list maker. This dragon looks sick. There.
Yeah, so good. All right, well, let's get into a throwback. Capital One, sorry, ads kicking in. Did you guys ever play Carmen Sandiego, the old like educational game?
On like high school, or not even high school, like elementary school computers.
Elementary school PC.
So this is coming out on the 4th, March 4th, and it's got this animated cartoon style to it, but it looks like you're still doing some searching and sleuthing and got to figure out the capital of what. That's what it looked like.
Look at that.
Remember back in the day, you had to actually own an almanac, to like
you did
this game. Get
out the encyclopedias. Yeah,
you had to actually be kind of smart. Yeah,
but this looks like. From what I can tell, if that's gameplay, you're actually running around isometric, but probably also solving, like, you have to figure out what the capital of something is.
In this,
where
in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
They don't bring that back. What's the
definitely have some action elements to it, which is interesting. So anyway,
look at that. That's
paragliding. That's fun.
Yeah.
Unexpected.
So there you go. Staying in that kind of like fun, lighthearted realm, 2 Point Museum arrives that same day, March 4th. And so just like 2 Point Hospital and 2 Point Campus, the idea is it is a very lighthearted take on kind of business management, not city building, but like business building sort of. Yeah. So, you'll get new attractions. You'll have to hire staff. You have to keep everyone happy. You have to solve problems as they pop up. It's, it's one of these.
I like Campus a lot. You got me into that game.
Campus is
I don't like these types of games, and I thought Campus rocked.
It was really fun. The courses that you have to create are so stupid. It's so stupid, but it's very fun. So this is definitely keeping with the vibe of those games.
Cute.
March 4th for that one, guys. We got a really important game 2 days after that. On March 6th, we have Suikoden 1 and 2, longest title of the year, by the way. Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster, Gate Rune, and hang on, what's the whole title? Gate Rune and Dunnan Unification Wars.
Sure.
I know what the Gate Rune is. That's a pretty big part of the story. I don't know what Dunnan is. I think it's the name of the land, maybe in one of the. I just can't remember what Dunnan or Dunnan is.
Dunnan Unification. It must be, yeah.
That being said, these storylines back to back. The first one is amazing. It's very much like father, son, and loyalty, and kingdom, and rebels, and all that. It's really good. 2 has a lot of that too, but it's more about orphans that grew up together as best friends that now find themselves pitted against each other for different reasons, and it ties back into a lot of characters and stories that were set up in the first one, things that happened in the first. So they definitely go together. You even get you get a good number of characters that were in the first game to at least talk to you, and in some cases even join you in the second one, which is really cool.
A data save carries over, right?
Data save carries over, and if you get all 108 stars of destiny, it will absolutely change the outcome of characters living or dying and who you can recruit in the next one. So a lot of motivation.
The pixel art in this game is so sharp. I think it looks so good.
Yeah, really, really pretty. So really, really pumped to replay these. Cannot wait. That's on March 6th for those.
It'll be a first for me. I went and played the successor after experiencing.
Yeah, you did.
Those, so.
Well, there's a game coming out called Dragonkin the Banished also on March 6th.
This looks rad. What is this?
So it's going to hit early access. It's called Dragonkin the Banished. It kind of has of course, that Diablo isometric action RPG look to it.
Look at this dude.
So these are some of the heroes you can pick. So this is the Barbarian. So there's different classes that you pick, and man, it's got a great visual style, and it looks like a lot of fun. Look at just hordes of enemies.
Super into this.
Yeah, so Dragonkin the Banished looks really sharp. Looks like some really fun abilities. That you
got a nice smoothness to it. Like, look at that.
Assuming it runs well, right? It's an early access, so it's always a dice roll when you try early access. But yeah, there you go. Dragonkin the Banished. It's scheduled for
what is that, Paladin?
A knight.
Oh, it's a knight.
Yeah. Yeah, so pretty cool. All right, let's jump to the next one. Assassin's Creed Shadows. I picked a different trailer. Most people have seen a lot of the story trailers and stuff. This one was meant to focus a little more on the environments in the world, which is cool. So I thought it'd be cool to see like some of the different environments that you'll be in. But guys, we've been talking about when an Assassin's Creed game in Japan and in the Shogun kind of era, like everyone's wanted this for a long time, and we're getting it. It's unfortunate that it's right in the middle of a whole lot of arguments about, and whether it's cultural or social, but even more so, I think, like corporate arguments about Ubisoft and corruption and buyouts and all that stuff. Like, there's a lot of gross stuff surrounding it.
Sexual harassments.
And, oh my god!
Controversies.
Really, not good timing. Not good timing.
Yeah. But if you're able to weed your way through all of that stuff, I think we might have a pretty awesome open world game to play. I don't know that it's going to rise to the level of, now we've been spoiled with Ghost of Tsushima and we're about to get Ghost of Yote, which we'll see something on later. So I don't know if it'll be comparable at all. Maybe they're different enough. I feel like there's going to be enough similarities though. It's going to be hard to avoid comparing them, but we'll see. We'll see. Now, traversing the land is different than it is in Ghost of Tsushima. That game's not meant to be lots of like swinging around and wall running, right? That's not how that game is built. So maybe it'll feel different. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm pumped. I mean, look at this. It looks, Ubisoft knows how to make a good trailer too, by the way.
They do, yeah.
And for, how massive the games actually are, like, visually, like, when you're comparing it, like, the size of the game to the visuals, it's like, it is pretty impressive.
It's not November 15th anymore.
No, it's not.
It is very visually impressive. I still think Valhalla was really visually stunning.
Yeah, Valhalla's a good looking game.
Yeah. Yeah, Aurora Borealis, like in like that whole beginning area when it's nighttime, you look up at the sky, you're like, dude, this is insane. And this game's massive. Like,
I mean, the idea of being able to go anywhere you see here and like climb up on this building if you want, or go out to those mountains if you want.
And like traversal's different depending on what season it is. Like that's it. It could be a good game. Everyone should give it a chance.
So that's out on March 20th, alongside this definitive edition of Xenoblade Chronicles X hitting the Nintendo.
Finally.
So this was stuck on the Wii U, was it not?
It was. It was entombed on that awful system.
Now we can play all of them.
One of the last games that like just only existed there. Like that's like they're getting a good one out. This is Monolith Soft like doing like their Xenoblade like kind of classic like open world stuff, but like mechs. Now you got mechs, and it's very sci-fi and stuff like that, which is cool.
So I mean, you can tell it's not. You can tell it's a little bit of a last gen game, but it looks clear and clean, and I'm excited for how it looks. This is on the Switch. Keep in mind. This is
you looked at comparisons of like especially the character models, like I've seen side by sides, and it's a noticeable difference.
Okay. Yeah, they bumped it. They bumped it. Yeah, and this is another one where you're like, like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 most recently, where you're like, how is the Switch doing this? Like look how open that area is, that draw distance and stuff. Like it's.
I don't believe it's gonna. There's just no way it's gonna look like this. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. What if it said at the bottom like footage captured on a PS5? Sorry,
or something. Orbital space battle going on. This game it's a visual feast. This game with a really good sense of scale, which this series always has had, but. No need to play the other ones. This is like its own standalone sci-fi universe. So
nice. Okay.
Yeah, they just decided to make this spin-off game, like this entire massive game. Like that's insane.
Well, if you need something cozy, you've got Tales of the Shire coming out on March 25th, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It is a Lord of the Rings kind of. What do you call these? Like these farm life sim.
Yeah, like
builders.
Life sim games. Yeah.
Sitting in the Shire with your Hobbit friends, making the farm.
Sounds adorable.
Yeah, there's like no combat and there's no sense of urgency, so it's just this like chill, like hey, let's cook and hang out, like type of game.
Yeah, it's made by Weta Workshop, which is this guy. He's from Weta Workshop.
Which were involved with the actual movies, all the
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
What was it? The props and the CG and all that.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, coming out March 25th, I think, to pretty much all platforms, even though that was an Xbox specific trailer. All right, there's this game coming out called Atom Fall. It's it's coming out March 27th. Coming to Game Pass day one. Let's see if they give it a description here. Let me pause it.
Oh, is it March? Dude, I didn't even know this
March
had a date
27th.
either.
Yeah, so it's a single-player survival action game inspired by real-life events of 1957 wind-scale disaster. So it's set in England, kind of in the 50s, 60s. Really cool vibes. I really like the setting. At first, when I saw someone walking towards that phone booth and stuff, I thought of, what was that real crappy game where the robots got real like aggressive and weirdly?
That's what it reminds me of too. Yeah, that like Russian.
So I hope it's better than
BioShock or whatever. Yeah.
Yes, I hope it's better than that. But it looks cool.
It was giving me Fallout vibes.
Yeah.
Not like in like the post-apocalyptic, but just like
too.
Yeah, just in like kind of like the way you go through the world, and like it's just very lived in, and like you're just interacting with everything and making choices and things matter and stuff like that.
Yeah, a little Wolfenstein-y too, maybe with the robotics.
Well, and like Fallout is also like trapped in the 50s, futuristic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I totally get that. Yeah, so this looks interesting. Atom Fall, it's coming. It'll be on Game Pass if you want to give it a try on March 20th.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Dude, I did not know this was in March. I'm actually really excited about that.
Releasing on the same day as the first Berserker Kazan.
Here it is.
Which, as Dan mentioned, has a really unique and cool kind of dark anime style. The visual style is really compelling and really interesting. I'll fast forward a bit. This is just someone playing the game. It's super cute.
It's
like Tales from the Shire.
It's the same thing.
It's also cozy. No combat. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Right when I said it.
Don't look at that blood. But by the way, the blood splatter as you hit, the fact that it's going in the right direction, it's like someone worked on that really hard to get that blood splatter right.
I feel like at some point, video games trying to be anime started looking better than anime. You know what I mean? Like this is like one of the best looking anime looking things I've ever seen.
I just want to call some out really real quick. Dan, look at these.
Look at these clips, dude.
Good snow detail, you know.
Look at these cliffs.
Uncertain edges.
How the fire lighting like bounces off this.
Man,
really good anime cliffs. Really good.
Jump ahead a little bit here.
Topography.
Got some armor now.
Topography.
Some good lighting in here, as you've got some sort of lantern spark thing on you to help light the way.
Yeah.
The demo? Is it parry heavy, Dan? Like block and parry heavy, or
it's parry and dodge? Yeah, it's parry and dodge. So, that was fun. This was like the first kind of like mini boss guy. No, second maybe. No, it's second. I don't know. It feels good. Like as you can see, the speed of it is not like quite slow. Souls. It's not like a Ninja Gaiden, but it's fast. Like it's
not quite as fast as a Sekiro, but not as slow as a Souls game, right?
Yeah.
Does that sound about right? Because Sekiro is faster than that.
I would say it's. I don't know. I feel like it's maybe close to the.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, also he's dual wielding, which is sick. He's got like an axe and a sword, which is freaking awesome.
The Viking anime combo, I didn't know I wanted until I saw this. You know, and I know it's been done
someone
before.
Watched Vinland Saga. You know,
there you go.
Someone was a fan.
Yeah. So, guys, we're hitting like, I think we've already hit like 5 in a row that I'm really interested in, and we're about to hit another one. About a week, 9 days later, we've got South of Midnight hitting. On April 8th, which this game looks super cool. If you haven't, go watch the developer direct trailer here. So not only is the setup interesting, the family and the character and, you know, like what's happening, but also the visual style. It's not a super long trailer, so I'll just let it play. But the visual style just captured me. It has this very unique, almost the way that some animated cartoons are leaning into, whether it's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse type movies, or Bad Guys, which is a really cool style of animation in those films as well. Or the last Puss in Boots movie, The Last Wish.
The last TMNT movie was kind of like
that. The last TMNT movie, where you've got just a real cool surfacey look to things.
Yeah.
And this really captures that. Look at this. Look at that.
It's like the creature design for me. It's like we saw like cool turtle guy like a couple trailers ago, and then we see catfish dude in this, and I'm just like, these are so awesome. Like I love the look of them so much.
Yeah.
Well, it's feeding into a lot of Southern lore, right? Just stories.
Yeah. It's like, just gonna be some like Southern Cajun stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was this fella right here that you're talking to.
How cool that catfish is. I love it so much.
It gives me almost like claymation, like it's sort of like claymation, but like leaning more into 3D. Stop motion, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Looks great. Looks really good.
I like the combat. Like they showed off a little bit of the combat and stuff like that. I'm like, it's gonna be like a third-person, like action adventure game.
Yeah. It seems deeper than I would have
cool,
imagined.
like unique weapons and tools and stuff like that. I'm excited for this one, like a lot. Yeah. Like Microsoft could have like a really cool, like unique game that maybe a game like this doesn't sell well. Maybe like Game Pass is like what a game like this is for.
Maybe
it's I would buy it. Like if this game came out as is, I would buy it, but I don't know how much like mass appeal like something like this has, especially with all the other games that are coming out around it. So I am glad that like
I've never played a game in this setting, this Bayou setting. Like I guess Mafia 3 sort of had it, but it was a little different. It was a different vibe.
Infamous 2 is take place in like a New Orleans.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is definitely like leaning way more into
South
like
of Midnight. Looks great. Looks really, really great. Coming out on April 8th. And then on April 24th, a couple weeks later, we get Claire Obscure Expedition 33,
which is getting a live action movie before the game's even coming out.
Wait,
what?
Stop it!
It got announced. Yeah, they're moving forward with a live action movie. They're like casting it and everything right now.
When did they announce that? I had no idea.
Earlier this week, like Tuesday. No.
Wait, was that Robert Pattinson? Is he the main guy in this?
I don't think so. I don't think
they looked like him.
Robert
actually. No. Oh, you mean in this trailer? No. I don't think they use anybody famous.
It looked like Robert Pattinson, that main.
So what does that say about how?
Doesn't he look at that guy? Anyway,
like someone was like, "Hey, this story is good enough to turn into a script," and sold it to somebody. So the story must be really good in this game. Is if like, there's so much buzz around it before the game even comes out to like make a movie off of it.
I'm just gonna say that this so far, out of everything that we know of, this is my most anticipated game of this year.
Yeah, it's in my top
and it already was before that Xbox showcase where they broke down like even more of like the details and.
From the first trailer I was in on this, I thought it was so captivating. Like you didn't like, and it was like every piece of it. I was like, oh, the story is really good. And then they showed you it was like a turn-based game. I'm like, excellent. Yeah,
interactive combat too.
Yeah, well, we know that Dan's boy Ben Starr is doing a voice in it. We know that.
That's true.
We also know Andy Serkis is doing a voice in it.
Oh,
and Jennifer English, if you haven't heard her, she's doing a bunch of stuff. And then Charlie Cox of Daredevil fame is doing a voice.
Is that Shadowheart?
He's the main guy. He's Gustav.
But the actress that you just mentioned, is that Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate?
Yes. Yeah, Jennifer English.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Shadowheart's in here. Dude, guys, overworld map.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you have to say. Like that's all you have to say. Overworld map.
Overworld map.
They did it, guys.
He does look like Pattinson. He really
doesn't he? He looks like. I'm not crazy, right? Okay.
No. I saw him that like.
I'm not crazy, am I?
It looked like Robert Pattinson.
I don't know, guys. I don't know.
All right. So that comes out on April 24th, and on May 6th we have this game. I did not know what this. Not USAA. Hang on for this ad. After.
Goddamn ads.
No, not this.
Goddamn
not
ads.
So this game is called Captain Blood. It is a pirate action adventure game. Kind of reminds me of PS2 days, but just like really clean, but like that 3D action adventure style where you are there to save the mayor's daughter, whatever. I forget what it is, but anyway. But look at it. It looks like a remastered.
It's definitely classic looking.
Yeah. Looking through the. He's got a flex while he looks through his telescope.
Of course.
But here you go. Here's some of the combat.
These are the type of games I played on PS2. So
yes,
right.
Little Prince of Persia rolling past the spikes, from Sands of Time type
like
stuff.
Old God of War, looks like.
So we're gonna start leaning into now developers harkening back to PS2 era. Is that what we're doing? We're now.
It's clearly tongue-in-cheek humor too, so it kind of fits with that old school vibe. Lots of jokies, like make friends.
Yeah, like Bard's Tale.
God of War too, right? The original, the 1 and 2 kind of has a little bit of that.
Yeah, there's some
vibe too.
I mean, yeah, you like have threesomes in those games. They're silly. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh my word! Look at the two videos that pop up: either Sea of Thieves or Skull and Bones.
Oh wow! One of these things is not like the other.
I'm gonna go Sea of Thieves with this one. Okay, so let's take a look at Doom: The Dark Ages hitting on May 15th after this university ad.
So excited for this.
So many freaking ads.
I know. All right, so Doom: The Dark Ages. This is coming out on May 15th, guys. I'm so pumped for this.
Same.
I am feeling a little guilty now that we're getting closer to it that I never finished Doom Eternal. I never finished it.
I'm not. I
haven't played it at all.
Oh, you didn't even try it? Dude, you should at least try it.
You should try it, yeah. You might like it. The people who like it really like it. So.
I loved
it. Well, I just know you guys kind of like indifferent to it or not.
Well, yeah, but we're just two people, you know.
We're also grumpy. We just want to play Red Dead Redemption.
We're also grumpy, yeah.
But I'm grumpy too.
That's true. All right. Well, anyway, this looks great. I've heard this is a prequel, right? Right, Gaston?
Yeah. I did start up the first game not too long ago, and I forgot that game started with like Doom Killer like on a ritual slab, like who's been like taken
almost like
prisoner
Bloodborne
or whatever.
Style.
So like this, and they said in this trailer like it's gonna lead right up to that. So like it is a perfect prequel. So at some point you're gonna get captured and tied to some ritual slab. So
okay.
Yeah. So you are the same Doom Hunter, Doom Killer as you were like in.
I love when he just punching demons. It's just the best.
In a mech.
Ready for mech. Yeah, I'm ready for mech.
All right, Dune Awakening, you guys, is coming out. We don't know when. It's slated for Q2. It's slated for sometime in the first half of this year. We'll see if that actually happens. But so this is it's supposed to be an MMO, I believe, a survival.
Yeah,
MMO.
it's exactly like Conan Exile in every way. I think it's the same studio too.
So I believe that means you can play it kind of on your own and not be bothered if you'd like.
Yeah, this game is going to lean into the politics and like lining up with clans and different factions in this. So it's like I think there might be a little more like bridging to talking to other people, but you're still on your own missions and create your own places to live and all that good stuff.
This looks so much like old school MMOs. That little equip screen that it had right there, you're dragging gear onto the different parts.
None of these people are sandwalking, so I don't know what's going on in this trailer.
They're not doing a little.
They would be getting eaten, right?
Yeah,
they'd be getting
eaten.
You can climb apparently. So anyway, I will say the color palette is going to be pretty static for this game. There's going to be a lot of that rust, sand, brown color.
The good old Xbox 360 day color palette.
Yeah, you got it.
Grays and browns.
But some of this action does look pretty cool. Like, look at that third-person shooting.
Yeah.
Like,
I hear really good things about this game. So, and I hear good things about Conan Exiles too. Man, that game's been.
Look at that. That looks cool. I'm intrigued with Dune Awakening. It could be garbage, and it could be like, oh, that's a bummer. That stinks. That's too bad. But it also could like surprise. Like some of the stuff they're showing looks promising.
A little bit of Mass Effect vibes as far as like
Mass Effect,
gameplay like stuff there. Like
I agree. So, also slated for sometime in the middle of this year, maybe later in the summer, is Dying Light: The Beast. So this is a standalone game. It's not an add-on DLC. I know they just released the 10th anniversary of Dying Light. They re-released it or whatever. So, but this is its own separate experience. I'll jump ahead a little bit here because a lot of this took a long time to reveal what it was. Then you kind of get to see the first person running through the city. This is someone that people who play the games recognize. I didn't really recognize who he was. Game, Kyle something. Anyway, it's a lot of there you go, running and scary zombie things running at you, especially at nighttime, which is horrifying.
You like got superpowers. It's like the Far Cry. What was that? There was like an early Far Cry game where like you like Predator,
Dragon.
No. It was like a real like after Far Cry 1, like before Far Cry 2, there was like Far Cry. I don't know, something, and like you had all these special powers and stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Looks like this then. Okay.
It's very much like this, yeah.
Well, also slated for sometime this year, hopefully Q3. It's Mafia: The Old Country. This cinematic trailer. I mean, I was already sold. You just told me like, oh, it's back in like the Old Country. Great, I'm in. You don't have to tell me anything else. It's made by the same people. I'm in. I love the Mafia games. But yeah, this trailer.
From what I heard, they're going back to how Mafia 1 and 2 were, where it's an open world game, but like it's just kind of a stage for you to do a linear type of story. Whereas 3 was like a classic open world game. And like I like 3 a lot, but I think 1 and 2 really hummed with their story when like the only kind of thing you had to do next was go to the next thing. It kept for a really good pacing,
You know, I had always held that 1 was great and 2 was pretty good and 3 was also pretty good. But after replaying 2, I was like, okay, 2 is better than I remembered. Like
2 story-wise, awesome,
yeah, really. So I just want them to tell me a really awesome Mafia origin story here. I don't need 1,000 missions and side missions and quests to do.
I just all the betrayals. I want to feel them. You know, I want to feel
especially
cool.
with like
you're my family, you know, and like you're stabbing.
This is an interesting setting, and it's going to be really cool. I think that's why it needs to be focused, because like really when you think about it, like wandering around 1920, is it 1920s Italy, so. In like those
it's Sicily,
old
right?
cars.
Yeah, it's Sicily. Yeah.
Like would actually be kind of boring, right? Like driving around in some 1920s.
Yeah,
Italy,
what are you gonna
Italian
like stop and save a dog or whatever? Like whatever.
Yeah,
like open world games have. Like you know, like I don't need the fluff, and I've always enjoyed games that dared to be like, no, we're an open world game, but like we're still linear. You know, like you can like drive around if you want to. It just creates a lot of immersion for me, and I really vibe with games.
I agree.
Immersion.
All right, well, let's look at this next one. This is also from the Blasphemous 1 and 2 team called Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. They're the ones who just put out that Stone of Madness game. But they're not done with their violent side scrollers. Now, the whole opening of this is very kind of anime. It looks really cool, but I'm gonna jump right to the gameplay that happens towards the end.
And this is a remake of a really famous 16-bit, opening for like the original Ninja Gaiden. That like the two ninjas staying in long grass and like that. So historical. So,
is this a new entry or is this?
I don't really know, man. I don't know if this is like kind of a reimagining or if it's the opening would have you think that it might be like a remake or adjacent to a retelling.
How awesome this looks, though.
Oh, this looks awesome, though.
Good pixel art. Very, very good pixel art.
Very good.
Really good. Dotemu, well done. I'm pumped for that, man. The Game Kitchen, I think, is the. I think Dotemu was publisher. Game Kitchen is the dev, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that sounds right.
Koei Tecmo, the distributor.
I'm very excited for this one. I'm curious about this because it looks like it could be amazing, but I feel like I'm getting tricked.
So
I feel
excited for this game. Every time,
Crimson Desert is tricking us.
I feel this way about like every Chinese game. Is that like this looks really good, but like what's the catch? You know, but like all of good. People like Wukong, people like Stellar Blade. I think it might just be time to.
But listen,
accept
I played a little bit of Black Desert. It's not my type of game, but it's a legitimately beautiful and cool MMO. It's just not my thing. So this is, of course, this is Crimson Desert, their single-player version of that. I assume it's set in the same world. It's by the same team, but
I don't know. I think it might be set in the same world. I'm not 100% on that.
I'm not sure either,
but it's not an MMO. Like, it is a single-player. They said it's they kept on using the word like forgiving, like so it's not as like hard like a Souls game. It is very much a. Like I don't want to call it a power fantasy, but an open world action adventure, like a Ghost of Tsushima or something like that. Yeah.
Shadow of War vibe sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Shadow of War, absolutely.
Zelda vibes.
Look at these floating
Tears of the Kingdom
islands, like Tears of the Kingdom.
And I hear the combat's awesome. Everyone's gotten hands-on time. This is another one's got a lot of really good buzz, and I've been very excited for this game. Been following it pretty closely.
I'm waiting for the catch. Like, but you have to like sell.
I mean, what is that? It's like it's a mech dragon. The mech dragon in a fantasy game. Like, what is happening?
The idea of flying a dragon over a castle and directing it to shoot its fire down into the castle. I'm like, why aren't there more games like this?
I want a new Drakengard game so bad. Can we just get Drakengard games, please?
Yeah, so that one is slated for, as you can see here, late 2025, somewhere in Q4. We'll see if it actually makes it this year. That'd be really exciting if it does. Same with this game that was just announced, and it's slated for late 2025. Ninja Gaiden 4 was announced.
This game's like 80% done, is what they said. So like,
what a well-kept secret.
Kind of fine-tuning. One of the best kept secrets ever, in gaming.
Yeah. This is how you announce games, because it's coming out pretty soon, right?
Right. So even if it gets delayed, it will have been. Let's say it comes out in early 2026 instead. That's still a year from announcement to release. That's not bad at all. That's really, really good. Better than the average by a lot. Here, I'll jump ahead to some of the gameplay
new character,
stuff. Some of the
you're chasing Ryo Hayabusa. It's very Resident Evil Village. We're like, is Chris the bad guy? Like
is he? You're
like, is Ryo the bad guy?
It is cool that they got, apparently, according to, and maybe Phil Spencer's one who leaked this news, but apparently it was Phil Spencer's idea for Platinum Games to team up with Team Ninja for this. That he wanted those two teams to work together. So he's the one who apparently set that up.
I like that Phil Spencer guy.
Interesting.
Yeah, told you.
They also the series. The series seems to love having the other character have beautiful hair.
Yeah.
Next to Ryu Hayabusa.
Oh yeah.
Because this guy's got some slick hair, and that other guy, in the Pixel Ninja Gaiden, that he's got some flowy hair. Like
he did have the flowy hair.
Good hair. Good anime hair.
This is a series that should have never gone away. So this is long over.
I'm glad it's back.
Yes,
I'm glad it's
absolutely.
back. What do you guys think? Speaking of a series that's still around, Borderlands 4. We got a trailer for that I think it was at the Game Awards. We saw this. I'll skip ahead here a little bit.
We did.
Yeah, Borderlands 4. I mean, it looks like, from what we can tell from a cinematic trailer, which isn't much, more Borderlands, right?
I hear they're maturing a little bit. Is
sure, yeah.
That they want to maybe do less like fart jokes and stuff like that. Which
that's the vibe I'm getting.
I'm hoping that's true. I don't like Borderlands. I don't have any problem with fart jokes. It's just
so what you're saying is some fart jokes, just not too many fart jokes.
Man, I'm like gonna be 40 soon. I have a very, my governor for tolerating fart jokes is getting smaller and smaller.
The occasional fart joke is pretty great.
I'm excited for this. I am worried that they're not showing enough. Like, this game's coming out this year. We don't know. Like, they're usually like, we're gonna show every character is gonna get their own trailer, and you're gonna get to see their gameplay. And like, where's all the info on this game?
Well, there's your classes right there, right?
They are, yeah. But usually they get like a big blowout, and they will get their own like trailer. Those are coming.
Little clips of gameplay there, which was kind of cool to see, just like interspersed with the cinematics. You see, so it looks like more Borderlands. It looks really sharp. The style and design looks great. And look at all the guns, like reminding you of the loot. Yep, the loot is a thing. So, all right, Borderlands 4. What about Death Stranding 2?
Pass. Oof. Next.
Is the subtitle on the beach? Is that really the subtitle? Is Death Stranding 2 on the beach? Okay.
On the beach.
This trailer is just, I think it's Troy Baker's new character.
Oh yeah. Pigs. Yeah.
And he, of course, is totally hamming it up.
New, right?
Just chews scenery and kills people with a guitar energy weapon of some sort.
Or I guess it's just a new trailer with his character, but yeah.
This is like a small part of like the 14-minute trailer I was joking about. They like took this like little section out to make its own trailer.
Is that one section? Is that one scene there where he starts jamming on the guitar? Tim?
Like the samurai dudes pop up and he kills a bunch.
I didn't watch this whole thing.
And this is like where he's talking about, looks like you traded in your stick for like your string for a stick, which was the last game, was that it's not about the stick, it's about the chord, if you will, because the chord brings you together, but the stick.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Like, this is insane. Like, Kojima's a madman, right? Kojima's a madman.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
I'm excited for this, man.
Yeah, he's like, let's make a Joker character, but he plays guitar.
I hear that the strikes are holding this one from making any progress right now. So. Which makes sense. These dialogue-heavy Kojima games, like
crazy.
The people who deliver those dialogue are on
You guys think this one will arrive in 2025?
I hope so. I bet it's pretty ready. He's been working on this for a while.
So do you think it will? If you had to guess, do you think we'll still play this game this year?
Yeah, okay. I'm just worried about this. I think the strikes are gonna push a lot of games out of this year if they don't get solved soon.
But it might be like a late November, December game.
Yeah, I think it'll be late this year if it comes out. Yeah. I'm really crossing my fingers on that one.
Well, we also have a new entry from FromSoft that is, I think they are probably relieved to do something that's not really a Souls-like experience. They're doing a really action-adventure co-op-centric game in the Elden Ring universe called Elden Ring Night Rain. The jury is out for me personally on whether or not I'm going to really like this, like where you have to be on a team of 3 and play with strangers or convince friends to play. I'm not mad that they made it. It's totally fine. It sounds like something they really wanted to make, and it's exciting for them.
Mm-hmm.
But
a lot of specifications, though, for sure.
Yeah. But it's definitely, it feels a little more like the all-star bad guys from all the Dark Souls games, right? Because some of the enemies are from
greatest hits going on.
Yeah.
There's an element of that. So
this was just a wild announcement. Just completely wouldn't.
It was because I kept on guessing, and I was guessing everything but Elden Ring because I was like, they said they weren't doing any more of these, so I'm not
right. Yeah. So anyway, so Elden Ring Night Rain sometime this year.
I'm interested to see what the, because I know it's like roguelike and like it's going to be randomizations, and so
I think that's when you drop in. I think when you pick your character, you jump on and you get dropped in.
It's set classes. Yeah.
I think you get dropped in via that eagle or whatever. So anyway, Elden Ring Night Rain. That is sometime this year. Apparently, so is Fable. I'm not sure if it actually will be sometime this year or not, but it's been a long time cooking, right? I really like the team. What is it? Underground
Playground Studio.
Playground. Oh, there it is. Playground Games. Of course, the Forza Horizon games are so fun. I really like those. This looks like, from if you guys haven't, I recommend going to watch the Xbox Game Showcase trailer from this past year. Has a lot of personality. The characters all have really strange looks, but if we're being honest, that's kind of how real life people look. Like the main
and Fable's always been kind of like everyone's goofy looking. Like it's kind of, I don't know, man. Fable's kind of always had like one foot in the realm of Monty Python. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like goofy looking people doing goofy kind of humor. You know, like so, I don't know.
But anyway, I don't know if it's a character creator or if these days I'm almost more into set a character and let me use it, but I don't know. Maybe
I think they said that you are still creating a character in this game.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. Look at that frog. Hey, some of these visuals look cool.
Which is a funny choice though, because this is one of those games where everyone was just digging into the main character and how ugly she is.
Yeah, which always made me laugh because I was just like, every single Fable you have some kind of ownership over what your character looks like. You know, maybe you start looking one way, but like you can go to the store and get a haircut, and get a beard or whatever. You know, so
yeah. Listen, like this isn't Miss Universe Simulator, so like she doesn't need to be the most attractive face there is. So I don't know.
But maybe
it is. If it is that, maybe I'll play it because I do like.
Maybe there's a pageant of some sort.
But anyway, I do think this one looks good, and I hope, although I do not think this one will arrive this year, but I hope that it does.
I want to be able to fart on townspeople. I know I just said that fart jokes aren't funny, but they are funny in this game.
I want to say I
want to kick a chicken.
Yeah. I'm on team fart, dude. I'm on team kick chickens. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If you're doing them.
Do you guys think?
Yeah, I want to be able to control it. Yeah.
You guys think Ghost of Yotei will also be out this year?
Ew. No,
it was just announced, right? That seems kind of.
But they did say it. I think that or they implied it. I guess I don't remember if they
on the PlayStation channel. Ghost of Yotei comes to PS5 in 2025.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it
seems. It seems close for a first-party game. I mean, I guess if they've been working on it since.
Yeah, they've been working on it.
Look how pretty.
Game came out how many years ago?
Oh my gosh, dude.
2018. Right? 2018 came out?
Yeah. 2020.
2020, yeah.
Dude.
And then the Legends DLC.
Yeah.
This little sequence right here is that Mount Fuji? This little sequence right here where it shows the different environments, the running horses, the colors that always just caught my attention. Like
Dude, you know what I'm really stoked about? Like the music aspect of it. I have a feeling like you're gonna be going around writing music and like maybe
the poems
alongside of haikus, alongside of haikus.
Yeah.
Or maybe instead of the haikus, like you're sitting there like, strumming. I'm very excited that like there's an instrumental aspect to it because like I like that stuff about Zelda, like when you have the ocarina or when you have the harp or whatever. Like I don't know, I'm kind of a sucker for that stuff.
Yeah.
Do
you think
also
that Wolfie
you had a flute in the first game, right?
Will the wolf become your friend, and will you have a dog to order around?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
1,000%.
Because look, now you both turned.
But I don't.
Yeah,
there was a flute, but it like was you'd go to a spot and you just kind of like he kneeled, right? He was kind of like kneeled and did something. I forget.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for Ghost of Yotei. Okay, I'm with you, Kyle. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that slips till next year. But boy, would I love it.
It might make it, man. I mean, this studio is not really known for like major pushback. So, and Sony needs a big first-party game to come out. I don't think they can wait another year. I don't. I don't think they can wait another year
because we don't know anything about Wolverine, right? So.
No, which I assume would come out this year too. But
I got to ask you guys about Grand Theft Auto 6, which by the way. One of the most fun trailers, though. I love this trailer.
They nail the trailers every time. They're short. They're sweet. The first one, like this, follows the trend of what the first trailer for a GTA has been for the last like 5 entries.
Yeah.
It is formulaic, but like the formula works. I love it. You get a good.
It shows you everything you need to know.
You get everything you need to know, man.
Like strong social media.
Look at that.
Yeah, strong social media presence. Like it is. I will say, like, when you go back and play Grand Theft Auto 5, like, that world that they're making fun of is the world we still live in today. So, like, it is kind of weird that in 10 years, like, there hasn't been a lot of changes, but there have been fine-tunements to, like, social media and stuff like that I think they're going to really link to. And obnoxious Florida behavior and stuff like that. So
in this trailer, it's very prominent. All the live stuff happening, people with their phone doing live, like that's going to be very prominent for sure.
I think Absolutely. We're going to get a lot more podcasts, and stuff like that when you're like cruising through like the channels and stuff. I love this couples angle where it's like you're a couple.
The Bonnie and Clyde.
It's not like a group of like three dudes who like kind of are forced to trust each other. It's these two people who do trust each other, and like. I love that. It's a new way to tell a story. And yes, it's going to be very Bonnie and Clyde. And yes, you're going to switch characters and you're absolutely going to have your favorite that you want to play with. But I love that it's going to have this perspective change between these two like lovers.
I think one's going to die at the end and your choices or decision at the end will decide it. But I could be wrong.
Yeah. I definitely think there might be choices or to maybe you both sell your lover out, or
could be. Or go out together. But yeah, it just like with some of the other games we've seen here, it does say coming 2025. Now, Rockstar has never been shy about bumping a game back quite a bit if they need to.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And hey, I think we all agree on this game and Rockstar games, generally speaking. Delay it, man, because it's going to be amazing, and I'll play it.
It's going to be amazing. We'll play it for the next decade. And the new rumors that are circulating, because I know everyone's like, I heard this is going to be $100 game. Probably not. But what the new rumors that's replacing that is that this will be a game. And then GTA Online 2 will be a standalone game that they sell on its own IP.
Sure. Interesting.
Which would be fine. I'm fine with that. Yeah. So
makes sense.
Do you guys remember this smaller game called Lost in Random that came out a couple years back? Yeah. Well, there's a sequel to that called Lost in Random: The Eternal Die, and it is some people are saying it's a prequel of that, says next chapter, but the gameplay perspective has shifted. It used to be a 3D game kind of over the shoulder of the character. Now it's an isometric game where it's like this. There's the view.
I see.
That is different.
It's way different. Yep. But
combat looks faster though.
Yeah.
And like slicker.
Much faster. In the combat in the old one, you did roll the dice, and that determined a lot of what was happening with your special moves and abilities and stuff. So the dice still.
I never did play this. But
the first one was fun. I didn't finish it, but it's really fun. Kind of Tim Burton-esque, with its creepiness.
Yeah. Well, I was watching my wife play it. She actually dived into it and played it.
First one is really good. It's like one of those like hidden gem kind of games. I really like it. So yeah, this one is slated for sometime this year. I don't think they have a date.
Interesting.
See if it says it at the end. I think it's just 2025. Yeah, 2025.
Wish list now.
2025. So yeah, there you go. Lost in Random, the sequel. I didn't put the trailer for the Switch 2 up here just to show you that I think a new Mario Kart's coming out this year, but that is potentially something that's dropping this year. Mario Kart 9 or something. Mario Kart 2. I don't know what they'll call it.
I'm interested to see.
Mario Kart, give us more of your money because you want this.
Mario Kart, wink, wink. So yeah. Anyway, what if it's just Mario Kart $sign? That's all it just says.
Just dollars. That'd be baller. That's a baller move.
But we do know that Moonlighter 2 has been announced. It's got a brand new art style. But looks like the same thing. You're running a shop. You go out, do your adventures, collect stuff, bring it back, and upgrade and sell and set your prices.
Moonlighter's fun. This is a fun one. Yeah.
Moonlighter is a really fun one. And you can lose hours. Like, holy crap, how many loops did I just play of this thing? Like, it's really fun setting the prices and watching their reactions tell you if the price is too low or too high. And but then going out on these adventures, a little Stardew Valley-esque in that way, where you go out and adventure and get as far as you can and gather materials.
I never played the first one, but I've always wanted to.
So fun, really, really fun. Moonlighter one is great.
I love the pixel art of it. I think it's pixel. It's more pixel, right? The first one.
The first one is more pixely. Yeah.
This one looks. Yeah, I like this one a lot, though. I like the look of it.
Yeah. Also, it just says, generally speaking, 2025 is when that one arrives. So yeah, that one looks pretty solid. There's this game coming out called Of Ash and Steel from Tiny Build Games. This one, I think it's an open world action adventure. Oh, there you go, open world RPG. So I'll let this one. I think it's a third-person perspective, if I remember this one correctly. A AA studio, so your expectations should, of course, be in check. Think more like your what's that one fall game that Derek likes? Greedfall. It reminds me a little more of something in that vein. And I don't mean that as an insult. Like, it just reminds me of that kind of a vibe. But anyway, it's called Of Ash and Steel. Looks pretty good.
Cool. Yeah.
Sometimes these games look cool and you play them like, oh, this is janky. But sometimes they're good.
Oh, sure.
It just depends. So it's hard to say, but It looks pretty fun. That is supposed to hit. I believe it's also just 2025. Yeah, at some point it said 2025. Yeah. All right, next one. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra.
Dude, I forgot about this game.
Game, yeah.
Yeah, finally. She finally gets to release a video game.
Yeah. She was in video game jail for a little while.
At least we think so, right? Like it's still it's supposed to be. Yeah, there you go. At the end of the trailer, it says coming 2025, but it's got a great vibe, really cool look and feel. Listen, the last couple of like major Marvel games, the single player elements at least, I've really enjoyed. Whether it's Guardians of the Galaxy, and I know the Avengers game had its problems, but that single player experience
was so good. Yeah,
up until
the story
a certain
was really
point,
good. Yeah,
the story was great, and even the missions and the gameplay was a blast up until a certain point. Then I started to feel the fatigue of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, this looks great, man, and the setting of it is excellent. So
the actual visuals look like, I mean, that looks like a real person. Like this is a good looking video game. Like
it really is. Yeah, and a cool you don't get a lot of like period piece Marvel stories. These days. I know they're pretty common in the comic books, but it's like it's taking a chance with the storytelling, so I'm here for it.
Yeah. So it says it's coming in 2025. I am looking forward to that one, just like I'm looking forward to this dog trying to get up the stairs in this
Konami can do no wrong.
Yeah, so this next one is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Is Delta code for 3? Why did they take the 3 out of it? What's that even mean?
I don't know. I think
it's supposed to mean something.
Something about it. I think they didn't want people to feel like they couldn't play this game, and because it's the original, or it's first in the timeline or whatever. Like someone explained it. Like someone who created the game explained it, not some idiot online. And I don't remember what the explanation was, but
yeah,
I do think taking the 3 out maybe allows people to like guilt-free play this game, even though I would argue that this is not the first game you should be playing in the series. There's too many there's too much jargon.
Look at that. That guy doesn't see you somehow. I love that.
I mean, unless they start tweaking stuff, Kyle, in this where like they are kind of trying to make it so you dive in.
No one's gonna understand what that is without the context.
But they will later, though, right? They will later.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe
the camouflage system in this is so fun because you just cover yourself in mud and it'll tell you like what percentage you're hidden and all that kind of stuff.
And you're matching up face paint with like your body and stuff like that. And
I love this game, man. I can't wait.
Three is objectively probably the best in the series.
It's my favorite, but yeah. But yeah, it also said, I believe it says it's 2025.
Yeah, I mean, the rumors were it was supposed to come out last year, so this game feels like. I think it's another game being held out by
Strike
stuff, yeah.
Okay. Well, do you guys think we will see Metroid Prime 4 Beyond with the Switch 2? Do you think it'll be a holiday release maybe after the Switch 2 comes out? Kind of like a Mario
announce this for the Switch, so this will be one of the maybe only cross-platform games, maybe cross-gen, games.
Yeah. As I was going through this list, I was like, oh yeah, they just put up a title for this, right? I forgot they actually showed a bunch of gameplay from this thing.
There's some, you guys get to see some stuff, yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh, is this a remake of 2? I can't remember what Echoes looked like. And then as it went on, I was like, this looks new. I don't remember most of this. This is the gameplay. And it's on the Switch. That's crazy.
It only took like 7 years, 8 years?
Yeah.
So long. They had to restart it. Like whoever was working on it.
Right.
Yeah. They had to restart it. So I am absolutely amped for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I do think that'll arrive this year. I think it'll be one of those things where it's on Switch and Switch 2, but Switch 2 will have like additional like visual features. Maybe it'll run at a higher frame rate or something. I think there'll be some.
I think you'd be silly to not make this like a flagship show off piece for the Switch 2. I think
like it's available for the Switch 1 and it has a Switch 2 optimized or whatever.
Yeah, it looks and like they really lean into the trailer. Like look how much better it looks. But that's also kind of weird. Like you'd cannibalize people who. Like, I don't want the dumb Switch version then,
right.
So, yeah, I'm interested to see how they market this one. But
I still think they should re-release 2 and 3. I still think they should re-release 2 and 3 on the Switch.
I'm surprised they
will.
Yeah, I'm surprised
they locked in. Because the Metroid Prime Remastered was so good. I love that game. It's really pretty. Oh, yeah. It does say 2025 here at the end, so that's what they're targeting. There you go.
Yeah, but just that we're seeing that a lot here is just 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is we're in that phase of this list here where we're down to be announced, but they're.
Yeah. This is another one where I'm like, is this going to be cross-gen too? You know,
I have no idea what this even.
So this is Pokemon Legends ZA.
It's the follow-up to Arceus.
Right.
So right. That style of Pokemon. Yeah.
That was the other Pokemon Legends game. So this I would assume is the Zyga. I forget what they're called. But anyway, it doesn't really show any gameplay. And it might be smart based on how Pokemon games recently have looked. So maybe it's good that they don't show. But it almost looks more blueprinty, like they're showing the layout of the city. I don't know exactly
I honestly don't know what they're trying to convey with this trailer.
So what I was hearing, and I don't know if it's just people basing it off of the trailer and they're theorizing that it's like this whole they're basically making this city feel like an actual like one for one, like what a whole ass city would be. And the game is supposed to just be in the city, which
this is the French area because that's the Eiffel Tower looking thing, and this is most people's like favorite city, or favorite, so that, but yeah, I mean, like they are really weird, focusing on the city. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean,
to think about where they're doing this game, like, and kind of remaking just this, like if the game did just take place in the city, that it would feel weird because it's like there's a whole other world. It
would feel like Dragon Age 2.
True, actually.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. We'll see what happens with that one. Professor Layton is getting a new entry.
These are sometime. Hey. Level 5 rocks, dude. What a great studio.
Yeah. I believe this one's hitting all platforms. I think. I could be wrong.
He's still solving problems and crimes and whatnot.
I mean, it still has a really cool steampunk sort of look to things. Really weird art. Look at these faces. Character faces are really odd.
Yeah, very odd.
But yeah, the idea is you're exploring the environment and solving puzzles. And you're Sherlock Holmes type of a character, Professor Layton. So there you go. There's that one that's coming out. And then one of the games I'm most hyped about, it got delayed significantly because of the war in Ukraine. I think Belarus is where they're located.
Yeah, they're a Ukraine studio.
But Replaced continues to be the most visually impressive. And I don't even mean just for pixel style. Like, I just think it's visually impressive no matter what.
I think it's absolutely outstanding.
Look at the lighting of that lamp on the floor, like the wooden, but it's like
actually, this is someone playing it now. So this is gameplay demo.
I don't think I've seen this one though. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I have actually. I think he gets chased. Is this when he starts getting chased?
I didn't watch this whole thing. I just saw part of it. I was like, I'm showing this one. Looks so good.
Yeah, this game looks incredible, man.
Yeah.
Was it sunset, like the sun setting and
the level detail, the shadows. That's crazy, man.
It looks
so good. So it remains to be seen, of course, like how does it actually play? Is it just a visual piece that kind of is clunky? Like, what was that? There was a samurai one that was all black and white that was visually stunning, but it just wasn't that fun to play. Like,
sucked.
If it's something like that, that's a bummer. But
I've heard that the gameplay, like from what I remember, because people did get hands on with it, like it like seemed like it had a little bit of a challenge to it. But once you got into the flow of it, here it is.
It kind of seemed Arkham-y. Like, see, like, oh look, you hit the dodge button or whatever.
Because he had a little notice.
There's obvious indicators,
Yep.
Yeah.
You got a shield guy there.
So red, you mean to dodge, right?
You can't block.
White, you can probably block. Yellow, you could parry, maybe that kind of thing.
See how he immediately so it
looks
like
shadows
Arkham-y. Yeah. All
right, now I'm really, dude. Look at that silhouette approach to the fighting too.
Again, the lighting in this sequence is insane.
Yeah, it's pixel art. Like, this is why I like when people like kind of just like dismiss pixel art games. I'm like,
don't even get me started.
It's like, have you seen
this? Art. Can you imagine if someo's just like oil painting's not art?
Right.
Because I don't like it. Oil's not. I don't like oils. It's not art.
Oh man, and I imagine it's gonna have a great story too. Look, here's an outdoor sequence. We're out in the forest.
Yeah, this is the part I was talking about. Yeah, this is the part I was talking about. He's getting chased.
This reminds me of like Inside or something.
Yeah. Or old school.
I know we got to move on because we got to wrap this up soon. But man, I'm captivated by this game. This game looks so good.
Yeah,
we can watch the whole thing.
Ooh, can't wait. It's set for 2025. All right. Shadow Labyrinth is, believe it or not, set in the world of Pac-Man. But it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
What is it though? But yeah, it looks like a side-scrolling action Metroidvania looking game. But
this looks wild, dude.
Oh, this looks cool.
It looks really cool. But that's a little Pac-Man following you.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. And you see like a goopy Pac-Man like towards the end, right?
Isn't that like
giant
a big
goopy monster?
Like a big one.
Like,
yeah.
So
he collects dots.
So question is, will the ghosts appear? Will the ghosts appear?
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
I guess when you eat that fruit, that would normally power you up or whatever, the big dot, he becomes this.
Oh yeah, there we go. Big goopy Pac-Man.
Well,
what a weird idea, but like interesting. Yes. Very interesting.
Obsidian, and we'll wrap it up being crazy and putting 2 games out in 1 year.
We'll wrap it up with the Outer Worlds 2 that we know Avowed comes out just in a few short weeks. And then Outer Worlds 2 is still slated for 2025.
It's insane.
So jump ahead here a little bit. But yeah, I mean,
like cannibalizing themselves.
It's maintaining that like narrator has a sense of humor vibe to it and everything. Like everything about it is very on brand, So it looks to me like if you didn't like the first Outer Worlds, you might not like this one either, but you should give it a chance because the first one was a lot of fun.
This might be more focused and better. Like,
just could be.
Looks good though.
Obsidian's definitely the best purchase Xbox made in their whole spending.
Well, and they're still letting a lot of these games. Like I think Outer Worlds 2 is coming out on everything, so it's like
it is.
They are doing that case by case basis, like they said they would. So
this.
Yeah.
So, well, there you go. There is our preview of 2025. And, I don't think there is at least we don't know of one yet that is like a Zelda or something like that, or like a new Final Fantasy entry. But there are so many marquee games like Grand Theft Auto 6. What if that hits?
Oh, sure.
What if this Marvel game actually comes out and it's really good? Or what if this Doom Dark Ages lands like the 2016 one did? Like, there's all these questions about what could actually happen this year. So I'm very excited to see how these things unfold. As far as like what's coming out soon that I'm most hyped about, I mean, it's other than replaying Suikoden 1 and 2, my favorite game of all time is Suikoden 2. At least it's one of them. It's got to be Monster Hunter Wilds, and it's so close. It's only a month away. It'll be out in 4 short weeks. I cannot wait for that. So that to me is probably the one that's imminent that I'm most excited about. What about you guys? Is it Avowed maybe, or is it?
It's Avowed and Monster Hunter for 2 different reasons. Monster Hunter for the co-oping and Avowed for the. I'm taking over a new leaf this year, guys. I'm not playing any Yakuza games. We're not going to talk about Yakuza games at the end of the year.
I don't believe you at all.
Basically, what I'm saying is I have too many games coming out within a week of each other, and Not ready for it.
Well, Claire Obscure for you, Dan, is that your most hyped one coming out soon?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's definitely stuff prior to that because Xenoblade Chronicles X, I'm like, that because again, that kind of came out of nowhere. It's like, hey, we're actually finally putting that on something else. So I'm excited for that. Suikoden 1 and 2, obviously, definitely. And Berserker, I'm kind of like
cautiously.
Yeah, I like the demo. Yeah, I wouldn't even say cautiously because that almost sounds negative, but like I did enjoy the demo, but it's like I'll wait and see just to kind of see what the reviews are overall of the experience. But Expedition 33, like
busy 100%. First quarter though. It seems like there's a lot of games that are probably going to get some hands on. So
yeah, it is a busy time. If you just look at the first 3 months of the year, there's so much to play. And then we're not going to get a break because then we have the run in April of South of Midnight, Expedition 33.
I kind of hope this strike lasts forever. Maybe none of these games.
Slow it down.
Anything that's supposed to come out like April and beyond, like just maybe we just don't.
Sure.
Maybe we don't.
Yeah, I would guess that a number of those that we reviewed that we're excited about are going to get bumped out of this year. I wouldn't be surprised at all if a whole bunch of them do, but I think enough are going to land that this is going to be a great year for gaming. So I'm very, very excited.
You didn't have the trailer for it, but it's April 18th. This the Lunar Remastered Collection, another collection of classic RPGs.
Great game.
So that's also
Lunar is awesome.
Excuse me. That's also in April. So
nice. Yeah, that's pretty exciting. Yeah, man. Well, listen, it's been fun to review last year, and now we're looking forward into 2025. So thank you all for listening and watching as we get ourselves hyped for the upcoming year. But let's be honest, I'm going to go back and play some more Red Dead until I finish it. I am, by the way, now I've done so much of the side stuff. I'm diving into the story to get to the epilogue of that. So that's where I am with that. But yeah, I'm very excited for 2025 games. With Tales of Iron 2, I'm reminded like, a bunch of new stuff is coming out. I got to start focusing. So unlike Kyle's camera, I got to start focusing.
I don't even know. I moved a little to the right. My camera's like, I don't know what we're looking at anymore.
Your camera's like, where are you?
It's all right. You don't have to worry about it. We're going to wrap it up. Hey, thank you guys for watching and listening. We'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, there he is.